Hey fellas, hope you guys doing great. In today's video we will see, what if Naruto started his new life in MLP by building harem with Princess Luna, Part 2. Huge shout out to Andrew 2013 for this story. If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe and like the video. So let's start the story. Naruto woke to find Luna sleeping right next to him. He jumped backwards, falling off the bed. The crash woke Luna up from her sleep. She looked around and then looked over the side of the bed and saw that Naruto was on the ground. "Naruto, are you alright?" Luna asked in a soft and loving-like tone, flying down to his side. "Yeah, I'm okay, Luna." Naruto looked away from her because his heart was beating heavily for some reason. "How about we go into town today?" Naruto asked, a little nervous because he has never really wanted to ask her anything like this. "Aren't you worried that Shadow may come after me?" Luna asked, feeling like Naruto wasn't taking her into consideration. "Well, if I remember what Karnak said, Shadow won't try anything for at least a month, right?" Naruto asked, smiling at her. She blushed at him with puckered lips because she felt duped. "I would never put you in harm's way." Naruto walked over to her and put his front left hoof upon her shoulder. Luna looked at it and then looked into his eyes. They were like blue diamonds to her. Naruto looked into Luna's eyes and they were like beautiful sapphires. "No matter what happens, Luna, I won't let anything hurt you, not even me. If I hurt you, I will disappear forever, okay?" "No!" Luna screamed, tackling Naruto to the ground. "Please don't ever say that. I don't ever want you to leave my side, Naruto. Never leave from my side. I want you to be with me forever." Luna didn't know what she was saying, but all she cared about was making Naruto take back what he said about leaving. She didn't want the stallion she loved to leave her forever. "Luna!" Naruto looked into the closed, tearing eyes of Luna and felt the pain she was feeling. He didn't realize how much Luna cared about him. He cared about her so much that he was willing to risk his life for her. "All right, Luna." Luna opened her tearing eyes at that and looked back into his smile. He drew her close into a deep hug. "I won't leave. I will stay by your side. I promise that I will never hurt you. I couldn't because I care too much about you. You're my closest friend." Luna wished that he had said something a little different, but she was happy to know that he wasn't going to leave her now. They let each other go and headed out of the house. Naruto's hoof suddenly hit a piece of paper and picked it up with his hoof. It read, "Naruto, Luna, please come see me at my house. There are 2 ponies who wish to speak with you." Naruto looked and saw that Twilight was the one who had written this. "Well, it must be important if she sent a letter to us so early in the morning, Naruto. I say we go pay her a visit and see what's up," Luna said, nudging Naruto. He felt his heart race a little and nodded his head shyly. "Are you sure you're okay, Naruto? You're acting kind of weird." "Oh, I'm fine, Luna, don't worry about me." Luna got closer to Naruto, and his face began to get red cheeks, and his heart was throbbing like mad. "Luna," he said, darting past her and out of the house. "Twilight's waiting for us. We shouldn't make her wait." Naruto didn't want to be alone with Luna right now. Being near her so close as they were made him feel uneasy. Then he suddenly remembered that they had kissed yesterday. Although it was an accident, it was technically his first kiss and Luna's. He had stolen her lips from every other pony in Equestria, and she had stolen his. He couldn't believe what he was thinking and was trying to get these thoughts out of his head when Luna came up beside him. "Naruto, I'm serious. You're not acting like you usually would." Luna was really beginning to worry about him. She wondered if his demonic powers had anything to do with his behavior. "Naruto, does this have anything to do with your powers?" Yeah," he said, finding that to be the only way he could get himself out of this. "I just feel like I might hurt you if my demon powers take over again. I promised that I would never leave, but I don't want to hurt you either." "Naruto, you shouldn't worry about those kind of things," Luna said, rubbing her head against his in a loving manner. "I won't leave your side, and you'll have me with you if it happens. I promise no matter how much you change, I won't ever be afraid of you. I will never back away from you, Naruto. I will only go towards you, never back." "Luna." Naruto looked at her with wide eyes as she made small circles in the ground with her hooves. "I also promise that no matter how much you change, I will never fear you, even if you become Nightmare Moon again. I will always stay by your side and keep you safe. I care about you, Luna." Luna looked up into his eyes at that point. She wanted nothing more than to steal a kiss from him, but she needed to wait a little longer for him to truly fall for her. She knew that he hadn't and was slightly upset. However, she couldn't help but feel as though Naruto was hiding something from her, and she didn't like that. They quickly got to Twilight's house where the door was slightly open. "Luna, stay behind me," Naruto said, jumping to the front ready in case something tried to come out at them. When they walked in, Naruto saw a pink alicorn, slightly larger than Pinkie Pie in size, with this crown on her head. Beside her was a white unicorn that looked just as tall as her. Twilight stood in front of them as the white unicorn stared Naruto down. "I'm going to guess you're the one they call Naruto?" The unicorn jumped out in front of Twilight and the pink alicorn as though he were some guardian. "Step away from Princess Luna right now!" "Or what?" Naruto asked, not budging from his spot in front of Luna. "I won't let you hurt Luna if that's what you're planning." Suddenly Naruto's demonic seal replaced his red swirl cutie mark as his orange coat also turned blonde like his hair. "I won't let you lay a finger on her, you jerk!" Naruto got up and shielded the alicorn from the attack. He took the full brunt of it as he used his small amount of power to then send it at a wall. "I won't be hurting anyone. I have protected Luna and Twilight from shadow ever since I got here," Naruto shouted, turning to face the unicorn, who had a shocked face. The unicorn thought he would have moved out of the way, but it looked as though he was protecting the pink alicorn, which he was. "I am not your enemy, but if you really want to get me away from Luna's side, you'll have to kill me." "Shining, stop this now!" Luna screamed after hearing Naruto's words. "He is my closest friend here in Ponyville." "Yes, Shining, Naruto isn't evil if that's what you're thinking," Twilight said, knowing why Luna had said that. She didn't want the risk of Naruto possibly dying just to be with her. "Naruto has saved us and my friends many times in the couple months he's been here." "Twilight, are you sure? According to the report we got of him, he practically demolished the festival yesterday." The alicorn seemed to be siding with the white unicorn, but she wasn't wrong technically. Naruto did demolish some of the festival, at least wherever an ape was present. "Well, yes, but that's only because they tried to hurt us and take Luna. They knocked him out, and I guess Naruto was still able to hear because the second that Luna cried out he went berserk with power, and what that report said happened," Twilight said, defending her friend. "Well, if you say so, sis, I'll keep my eye on him though," Shining said as he turned to look at Naruto. "Sorry about all the fuss there. My name's Shining Armor. I'm Twilight's older brother." "I didn't know she had a brother." "Well, I'm Naruto, and who's the pink alicorn? She your girlfriend or something?" Naruto asked, not realizing that he had just embarrassed the two of them. "We're not a couple," the pink alicorn said, blushing a little as she threw Naruto across the room with her magic. "Shining, people know that you don't have any real feelings for me. There are many better girls for you to pick from anyway." Cadence, I think you need to calm down. I thought you liked me. Guess I was wrong about that," Shining said as he let his guard down. Naruto's body became wrapped in flames as his anger rose from being humiliated in front of Luna like he had been. He stormed out of the hole that he was in and headed right for Cadence. Shining Armor saw this and immediately took the full force of the attack, barely able to block it in time. Naruto landed on his feet, while Shining was thrown to the ground. Cadence ran to his side and saw the anger within Naruto's eyes and felt like she was about to receive the same thing, if not worse. "Naruto, wait a moment!" Luna shouted, jumping in front of him. "Just calm down a second and let's talk about this, okay? Cadence is just a little embarrassed that you called them a couple is all. She didn't mean to throw you across the room. Please calm down for me, if not them." Naruto's flames went down, and all his anger faded as the look from Luna's eyes gave him a slight horror. He saw fear in her eyes. "I'm sorry, Luna, and to you too, Cadence. I don't know what came over me." Luna brushed her cheek up against Naruto's and he stiffened as her warm cheek connected with his. "Naruto, it's alright, I'm not scared at all." Naruto looked out with wide eyes. "You said that you wouldn't leave my side, but now, after what I saw at the festival, I know that I can't leave you." "Luna, you can do whatever you want, I'm not going to stop you," Naruto said, allowing Luna to rub up against his cheek again. "I'm not going to go crazy or anything. There's no reason to worry." "I know that, but…" Luna remembered how ruthless Naruto looked when he had defeated the apes. "I just don't want to see you like that ever again, Naruto." "Luna," Naruto couldn't believe that she was crying. Cadence and Shining both looked over their way and saw how upset Luna was. Naruto hated to see Luna cry, even though she hasn't done it around him much. Please don't cry. I can't stand the thought of losing you. You're the greatest friend I have. Luna looked away from Naruto and stared out through one of Twilight's windows. I'm not going anywhere, Luna, we talked about this. Naruto tried to comfort her because he didn't want her to cry anymore. Seeing her smile and happy was definitely better. He put his hoof around her and hugged her, which immediately sent a warm feeling through Naruto. He got a reply as Luna returned the hug to him, tears still coming out of her eyes. I never thought Luna would fall in love, Shining, Cadence said as she watched the display of emotion from the two. Cadence looked over to Shining and felt a warmth that was very common to her. She always felt this warm feeling around Shining. She liked him intensely but was too afraid to say it. She feared that the only reason Shining may like her is that she is a princess. So every time someone said they looked like a couple, she denied it. How are you guys getting along? Twilight came out of nowhere, well, from the top of the stairs really. She noticed that Luna and Naruto were hugging each other still as they looked up at her. Naruto quickly jumped off, feeling really embarrassed. He had completely forgotten that there were other ponies in the room and that this wasn't his house. Why was it so important to him to make her happy? Okay, well, I bet you're all wondering why I brought you here today, Twilight said, getting a nod from every pony here. Well, I thought that maybe you all should meet each other. Naruto has already met Princess Celestia and, as you probably guessed, Luna. I thought he should meet everyone because he is my friend and you guys were coming to visit. I thought it was a good idea. What do you guys think? I think you were right, Twilight, Cadence said, walking over to Luna and Naruto. Naruto looked utterly confused by her. Just seconds ago she threw him against a wall, and now she was being all friendly. What the heck is going on? I agree with Cadence as well. We definitely enjoyed meeting them. Okay, did Naruto hit them that hard? He sent both of them into a swell of fear just showing his powers alone. This is getting really weird. Naruto began wondering what got into these two in the past 5 seconds. I wouldn't agree with that personally, but I guess you could say it was enjoyable, Naruto said, backing away from Shining and Cadence. He didn't want their weird rubbing off on him. He looked to Luna, who had this sad look about her, and Naruto wondered why she would be sad right now. Then he realized that she wanted him to be friends with the new ponies here. Sorry about that, guys. I meant that meeting them was an interesting experience. They were definitely a lot of fun in the few minutes we were alone. Naruto! Luna shouted, causing him to flinch a little. Naruto was getting to Luna's bad side. Anyone who knows Luna knows that isn't a good idea. Sorry, Twilight, I know them already, but the first impressions weren't exactly perfect. I think that they could have handled themselves much more like a princess and one of the royal guard. Luna, you know my brother has a tendency to act that way. They were also told about the incident at the festival. They know what Naruto did to those apes. Twilight looked over to Naruto and saw that his head hung down from his neck as he then turned around. Naruto! Luna tried to go and comfort him, but he shrugged her off. Naruto? Sorry, Luna. If you guys don't mind, I'll be outside waiting to go home. Naruto left with his head down, thinking about how he went completely ballistic against those apes that had hurt Luna the way they did. Twilight, you didn't need to say that. Luna now got angry as she just watched the stallion she loved walk out on her looking heartbroken. He has had a rough enough morning already. You didn't need to make it worse. I'm sorry, Luna, Twilight said, getting defensive. I thought he would want to know that they knew about it too. I didn't think he would respond like that. Naruto can barely stand himself right now. He's been acting really weird and doesn't need anyone telling him that he's a monster, Luna said, looking away from the three in front of her. Do you think he's a monster, Luna? Cadence asked, feeling like this needed to be said. Outside the house, Naruto heard this and put his ear to the door. Did Luna really think he was a monster and lied to him just to make him happy? Luna looked up at Cadence, and her horn glowed with a dark blue. Cadence was immediately thrown across the room into a bookshelf. Everyone was surprised by what Luna had done. Naruto heard the bang and went to a window to see that Luna had her magic flowing through her horn. How dare you accuse me of thinking that? Luna was epically pissed off now. I have not once thought of Naruto as anything but the most amazing stallion in Equestria. He would never hurt me or any of his friends. I care for Naruto to no end, and every day that feeling gets stronger and stronger. I want to be by his side when he's like that because to me he was in pain. I don't ever want him to be in pain if there's something I can do to stop it. Naruto couldn't believe what his ears had picked up. It sounded like Luna was in love with him, which she was, but due to the dense head that Naruto has he wouldn't pick it up if it hit him in the face. Luna cared about him that much? He couldn't believe that she could care so much about him for what she had seen. Naruto grabbed his head in frustration. Why? Naruto shouted, getting the attention of every pony in the vicinity of Twilight's house. Luna came bursting through the door with Twilight, Shining and Cadence right behind her. Naruto looked over to them to see the worry all over Naruto's face. I'm alright, just thought too much, that's all. Luna's worried face turned into one of irritation as her cheeks blew up as well as glowed with a bright red. Luna, wait, I'm sorry! Luna wrapped her hooves around him and Naruto opened his eyes to find her crying again. Don't scare me like that, Naruto, Luna said, holding him tighter. Naruto couldn't believe that he got out of that one unscathed. He put his front hooves around Luna and returned the hug. Sorry about that, Luna. I didn't mean to worry you again, Naruto said, allowing her tears to fall onto him. Naruto felt lucky to have someone like Luna around him. He hoped that nothing would take her from him. Then he thought, what the heck am I thinking? Naruto couldn't believe he was saying such a thing in his head. He cared about Luna, but he didn't like her that much, did he? Naruto, can I talk with you for a bit? Shining asked him as the hug between Naruto and Shining ended. Naruto nodded his head and followed Shining back into the house. Luna was right next to him, but Shining stood in her path, immediately causing her to remain outside. I want to talk with him alone if that's okay, Luna. Alright, but don't even think of trying anything funny, you hear me? Luna didn't want to leave Naruto's side, but for some reason she had to in order to get back to it. I won't do anything you wouldn't do, promise, Luna. Shining shut the door behind him and locked the door. Naruto didn't like the look of this at all. Shining walked past him and up the stairs. Hey, are you coming? I need to talk to you about something private and don't need the girls hearing it. Naruto nodded to him, thinking that if it was this private then it had to be important. They got into the upstairs library and Shining shut the door. So I bet you're wondering why I brought you here, huh? Naruto nodded his head for the third time, obviously getting annoyed by this. Well, I want some advice if you can give it. Hey, I'll do what I can to help, but why can't the girls hear about it anyways? Naruto asked, feeling like this was a little strange. Well, I don't want Cadence to hear this, but I'm okay with you hearing it. Shining went to the window to his left and looked out of it. The thing is, I'm in love with her. I'm madly in love with her, but I'm too afraid to tell her, and every time someone says anything about us being a couple she denies it like she doesn't want anything to do with me. Do you have any idea how much that hurts me? Actually, believe it or not, I do. Shining turned around to look at Naruto. I think I know what you mean anyway. Naruto, do you like Luna? Naruto looked at Shining now as his head became filled with images of nothing but Luna. Do you really like her? Because from what I've seen she cares about you so dearly and would do anything to be at your side? Would you do the same for her? Little did the two of the stallions know, but the two they didn't want to listen were listening. Using their magic to increase the volume of the house to their ears so that they could hear everything. Luna was listening very closely because this could be what she's been looking for this whole time. Naruto looked away from Shining with a confused and angry look. This should have been a simple answer, and he couldn't even think straight right now. I don't really know, Shining. Luna stopped listening and fell to the ground, tears coming from her eyes. Cadence came down to her. Hey, don't let it get to you, Lu. Wait a moment, he's saying something else now. Luna looked up at where she believed Naruto to be and used her magic again to listen in. But I can't deny how much she makes me happy. Just now when I saw her cry I felt so horrible inside I wanted to do anything to make her happy. Naruto felt that he could say what he really felt without possibly hurting Luna now. I want to make her the happiest alicorn alive. But I'm afraid of hurting her, and that keeps me from being closer to her. I don't know why I want her by me every waking second, but whenever I'm with her it's like the stars during the night. She's the most beautiful mare that I have ever seen. She has a beauty greater than that of her sister Celestia. I don't know why I think this, but I do. Naruto suddenly felt the sting of tears as they started to slowly come down his cheeks. It hurts me, when I see someone hurting her. I feel like I lied to her and I lose it. That's what happened at the festival. The mare that I promised to protect with my life almost died. I couldn't protect her well enough, and she was almost killed because of my mistake. Naruto, that's not true, Shining said, seeing the pain this put on Naruto. According to the report Twilight gave us, she wasn't anywhere near dying, so you kept your promise to her and kept her from dying. Thanks for trying to help Shining, but I know what I did. Naruto turned away, putting his back to Shining. I almost hurt her, Shining, me. I almost hurt the most important mare in my life. The mare that's been with me since day one, the one who makes the most amazing breakfast in the world every morning, the mare who gave me my first kiss. Even if it was an accident, I don't care because it was still my first kiss. She doesn't care who I am and I don't care what she is or was. She could turn into Nightmare Moon right now and I would still hold her in my arms. I would never turn against her no matter what. I'd die before I hurt that mare. She means too much to me and I curse myself for having these damn powers because they almost killed her. I keep asking myself what would have happened if I hadn't heard Luna then. I know the answer to that stupid question, and the answer is that I would have killed her. I'm nothing more than a monster. Naruto shouted loud enough for the whole of Ponyville to hear. I know that's how she thinks of me. She doesn't want to admit it, but that's what she thinks. I know that. I kind of like that fact though. It tells me that Luna really cares about me. Even though that at a moment's notice I could end up killing her if my powers go rabid like that again. Naruto, that's not true. Naruto looked up and so did Shining, and they realized they neglected to close one of the windows, and this one led to a balcony. Luna stood on the balcony with tears in her eyes. I would never think of you as a monster, Naruto. Naruto's eyes widened when he heard this. Naruto, I could never think of you as a monster. I don't care how much your powers change you, you'll always be my closest friend. You'll always be in my dreams where we're together and have a filly of our own. I'll never hate you, Naruto. You could never make me hate you. How can you say that when I almost killed you? Naruto asked, looking away from her. I'm nothing but a monster, and you know it, Luna. Please don't lie to me. Luna walked over to Naruto and slapped his face. Naruto's eyes were wide, and the three others that were now in the room couldn't believe what Luna had just done. Naruto looked at Luna but wasn't able to say a thing because his lips were busy with Luna's. Luna held him in her hooves as she pulled closer, intensifying the kiss that she gave him. His heart pounded harder than ever. They had just kissed yesterday, but that was an accident. This one was no accident. Luna pulled away, keeping her hooves around his neck. I could never hate you, Naruto, because since the first day we met I'd been in love with you. Naruto looked into her eyes as a cloud came over the house. Suddenly a great wind came and took the roof off the house. When they looked up they saw Discord with Fluttershy flying together hand in hoof. They waved sorry but drew each other closer together. Naruto and Luna both saw it. Suddenly, as if some jerk wanted to make this even more romantic, the rain started to come down. Luna, you've loved me this whole time? Naruto asked as Luna's face was half covered by her hair. Yes, I have, Luna said with her cheeks burning red with passion. I've wanted to tell you the first day I realized it, but I was worried and thought that you would think of me as a freak, and Luna was cut short by Naruto's lips. Naruto had finally done what she had been dreaming of. As the water hit their faces and coats, dampening them even more. Naruto didn't let her go, and she wasn't going to let him, as their kiss became more than a kiss of thank you, but a kiss of passionate love. Naruto was the first to pull away from the kiss. Luna didn't want him to, but she knew it would be asking for too much. Thanks, Luna. That was for telling me the truth and for staying with me despite what I have done to you. Naruto smiled at her, as she looked even more amazing in the rain. He brushed aside her hair. I don't know what I feel, but I know what felt right, and that did. And so does this. Naruto locked lips with her again, and Luna welcomed them with great acceptance. She has waited for this for months. To her this could be the only time this happens, and she wanted it to last an eternity. Naruto now realized what that dream was telling him a while ago. He wouldn't let Luna leave his side unless she was taken from him. He didn't know what he felt, truly he didn't know, but he knew that what he was doing with her felt right. Shining and Cadence watched the passion being given from the colt and mare in the corner. Cadence never thought that Luna would find someone that she could love in her lifetime. But there right in front of her she was being kissed by the colt who she has loved since the first day he appeared in her life. Maybe this could happen for her. She looked over to Shining, who was still entranced by the kiss that was still going on. Luna and Naruto pulled away from each other. "Luna, I don't want you to be afraid of me ever. Can you make that promise to me?" Naruto whispered so that only she could hear. "Naruto, if what happened at the festival happens again, I'll be right there for you. I love you and I'm not afraid to say it anymore. You're mine and no one else can have you. I won't let any pony, not even my sister, take you away from me," Luna said, placing her nose on his as they connected their foreheads. "If someone were to take you from me, I don't know what I would." Naruto put his hoof on her mouth, stopping her from speaking. "Luna, no one in this world could take me away from you. I promise you that I would stand by your side until I died, and I will keep that promise if that will keep you happy." "It would," she said, holding him tighter as her face fell onto his chest, and he began stroking her rain-soaked hair. "It would make me the happiest mare in Equestria if you did that for me. I would do anything for you, Luna. I would even die if it meant saving you." Naruto put his hooves around her hair and back as he brought her even closer. He could feel the warmth of her body, and he didn't even feel the rain as it fell onto his head and nose. "Luna, I don't care if I never find these emotions that you've found, because I'll never leave your side ever." "Naruto!" Luna pushed even harder into him. He accepted it as he looked at the three who were looking at him, and Luna. He smiled at them, which is something not even he knew why he did that. He just wanted to smile at them, mainly at Shining. "I want to live with you, Naruto, and have a family together, but that may be asking too much right now." "It's a little much right now, but when I feel like it's not, I'll tell you, I promise," Naruto said, pulling her out to look into his eyes. He wanted her to know that he was serious. "We've been like a family for months, haven't we? We've been under the same roof since day one. Who knows, it may come sooner than you think." Luna had tears coming out of her eyes, but she was smiling. The rain kept coming down, drenching them, but a hurricane could have been going on and they wouldn't have let each other go. "Luna, some pony else needs to confess their feelings right now. He can't go on like he is without doing it." Luna and Naruto stood up, with Luna keeping as close to her stallion as possible. Naruto let this happen because he now finally understood everything that Luna did, and why she wanted him so close to her. "Shining, you can't go holding everything in like you do," Naruto said, walking up to him, leaving Luna where she was. Only Luna was okay with this. She knew he was coming back no matter what. "I may not be one to give you the advice, but if it were me and I had your feelings, I would have told her by now without fear, because it wouldn't matter to me whether she thought I was crazy or not. I would still love her to no end. If she meant as much as the one you love does to you." Shining looked from Naruto to Cadence, and his gaze didn't move from her. He looked at her with this new courage that he had never felt before. Maybe seeing Luna confess her feelings gave him the courage. "Cadence, He hesitated, looking down as he grinded his teeth. "Cadence, I don't care if you hate me for saying this, but you're the most beautiful mare that I have seen in my whole life. If someone were to ask me who the most beautiful pony was, I would immediately say your name. You are the most amazing thing in my life, and I would die if you weren't around." "Shining, do you really mean that?" Twilight moved away from Cadence and over to Naruto as Luna came up next to him as well. "Do you truly mean that?" Her voice was that of someone pleading. "Yes, of course I mean it. Whenever I hear someone call us a couple, I feel on cloud 9. I want to be yours and no one else's, but you keep pushing me away, and I haven't found the courage to tell you this, but Cadence, I am in love with you. I don't care how you feel, because it won't matter. Even if you hate me now, I will never stop loving you." Shining may have taken a few words from Luna, but what he was saying was true. Author's note: if none of you are still getting what this chapter was about, look at its title once more. And yes, it is a lot or a little mushy, but this is a drama romance, so it's supposed to have a little of that in it, and I got tired of making Naruto so dense. Shining, I never knew you felt that way before. Cadence felt the sting of her own tears come as they fell from her cheeks. Shining could somehow tell that she was crying and got to her sides as quickly as possible. He put his hoof on her shoulder, trying to give her comfort. Shining, I know this isn't what you expected, but you've always been my knight in shining armor, no pun intended. I've always seen something in you that I never saw in anyone else, not even Twilight. I still don't know what I saw in you, but I don't care anymore. She looked up into his eyes, startling him a little bit. I'm in love with you too. Shining's eyes widened as Cadence's lips covered his. Her hooves wrapped around his neck as he fell to the floor on his butt. Cadence finally said it. She finally, after all these years of being with him, she finally confessed her feelings to the stallion she loved. Just like Luna did with Naruto. Shining's eyes slowly closed as he put his arms around Cadence's rain-soaked hair and coat. Their kiss deepened from a kiss of confession, just as did Luna's and Naruto's kiss did, to a kiss of desire and want. A kiss of utter need. They drew apart from each other's lips but not from each other's arms. They both have waited too long for this day, and thanks to Naruto and Luna it happened. Cadence, I've wanted this for so long I can't tell you how long it's been. Shining was beside himself as his cheeks were red with passion for the mare he loved. Same here, Shining. Cadence drew closer to him, putting her head against his chest. Your heart's beating so fast, Shining. Well, of course it is. I'm nervous as heck right now. Like I said, I've wanted this for so long that I would have taken your answer on my death day if that had to be the case. Shining stroked her hair softly. Can I finally call you my mare friend, Cadence? Can I call you mine? On one condition. Shining looked down at her as she drew closer with her eyes closed slightly. I get to call you mine and no one else can have you or your happiness but me. You have to promise me that you will never betray me. Don't ever think that someone else is better than me. I need to know for a fact that you're mine and all mine. Then you have my promise, my love. Cadence smiled at him then as he looked at her with a very serious expression. Nothing will tear me from your arms lest it be your own arms. I won't allow myself to dream of any pony else other than you, Cadence, because you're my only choice for my life. I would marry you right now if I could. But I will wait, and I want you to wait just a little longer for me to be ready for that. Please don't keep me waiting then. Cadence locked with his lips again, and was lost in the kiss as was he. They pulled closer, deepening the kiss even further than before. They let go a few seconds later. Shining, I could wait forever, even in death I would wait for your proposal, but please do hurry up and get ready. I promise it won't be long, Cadence, just hang in there a little longer, my love. Shining stood up, helping Cadence to her feet as well. He turned around to see Naruto with Luna under his arm. Thanks, Naruto, now I have what I've always wanted. If it's okay with you, when I ask Cadence to marry me, will you be my best colt? Shining asked, putting his arm around Cadence, who used this as a way to get closer to him. Only if Luna gets to be the mare of honor. Shining and Naruto both laughed as the ones who loved them smiled at each other. I'll take that as a yes. Naruto, can we go home now, just me and you? Luna asked, getting her grammar all wrong. Sure, if you guys don't mind. Me and my girl got to get home and make a new treaty, Naruto said, looking into the eyes of the mare he cared about so dearly. Even though he didn't know how he felt about her, he knew that he cared for her immensely. Besides, we're still working on the upstairs cleaning. Naruto left the house with Luna in his hoof. As they walked through Ponyville, they were looked at as if they were foreign ponies. They walked together, not letting the other go, whether it be with a wing or a hoof on the hoof of the other. Naruto looked up and couldn't believe how much time had passed since Luna came into his life. Time was moving so fast and he wanted it to slow down, but today he finally learned all the reasons why Luna did what she did. Why she wanted to stay here, why she wanted to live with him, why she wanted him to promise to be by her side. He finally understood it all. Finally, his head didn't have any questions about it. They quickly got back to the house as the sun was going down. They both looked up to see the full moon looking down upon them. Beautiful, isn't it, Naruto? Luna asked, not taking her eyes off the moon. It is, but not as beautiful as you, Luna. Naruto spoke the truth as he hugged her underneath the moonlight's glow. They embraced each other within their arms and hooves as they sat there until they couldn't anymore. They headed for their beds until Luna had something to ask. Naruto, would you mind if we slept together? Naruto, being the ditz that he is, immediately thought the wrong thing. I don't mean that just side by side is all, but if it's too uncomfortable for you, I won't pressure you into it. If it's just sleeping next to each other, then I'm perfectly fine with it. Naruto lied down, and Luna put her arms around him as they both fell to the clutches of sleep. Their hearts beating faster even in sleep. Their relationship has finally begun. Naruto stirs in his bed of leaves as his hoof catches something above him. Naruto slowly opens his eyes to see Luna over him, or more correctly on top of him. Morning. Naruto looks at her with wide eyes, hoping what he's thinking didn't happen. Don't worry, nothing happened, I would know, trust me. How did you sleep? Luna asked, getting up, allowing Naruto to as well. Her voice was a little different in the fact it was more cheerful than usual. I slept great, Luna, but why do you sound so cheerful today, what's up? Naruto asked, smiling as he watched Luna slide over to him, placing her wing over his back. Nothing, she said gleefully as she jumped down the stairs. I'm going to say this right now, I am a little frightened by that image of Luna jumping up and down like Pinkie Pie. Naruto shook his head, thinking from yesterday, and knowing exactly why Luna was acting this way. He began to question why he ever kissed her back, but he always came to the same answer: it felt right. He got down the stairs to hear Luna humming away in the kitchen. The sound was more angelic than he remembered it to be. He was a little enthralled by it, as well as he began to do a small dance behind her. He did it softly because any pony would have laughed if they saw him dance the way he did. Luna turned around to see Naruto doing his little dance and giggled under her breath. Naruto, having fun over there? Luna asked, stopping Naruto's dance. He looked away as his cheeks were a bright red. Sorry, I didn't think you were one to dance is all. Thanks for that, I'll remember it when you want to dance with me, Naruto said, looking at the mare he kissed so much yesterday. He wanted so badly to get lost in her lips again, but he didn't want to obsess over it. He needed to play it cool. Good luck with that, Naruto. You would dance with me even if that was the case, Naruto, Luna said, smiling at her stallion. She wanted to be in his arms right now, but she didn't want to rush things. Well, at least they think alike. Naruto, what you did yesterday. Naruto looked up at the mare he cared so much for. The feelings he had yesterday couldn't be denied, but he didn't want to be in love with her, because he could still hurt her, and he didn't want that. Do you love me, really, do you? I think I do, Luna, Naruto said, putting his hoof on her cheek. I did a lot of thinking last night, and came to the conclusion several times that I have to be in love with you with what my mind was giving me last night. I wanted to hold you in my arms so close that you and I would never be apart. I finally realized that I do love you. Naruto wrapped Luna in his arms as a tear fell from his cheek. How he found that out in that short amount of time is nothing more than a miracle. He wanted to be with Luna forever, but what would happen if she thought he was cheating on her? He didn't want her to feel that way, but what could he do? It's not like he could marry her right now. Naruto, do you think we could possibly, Luna was hesitant to ask him for a kiss because she didn't want to be greedy. Naruto read right through her hesitation and placed his lips across hers. They wrapped each other within their hooves as the touch of their lips on one another sent them into their own fantasies. I'm not going to say what those fantasies are for peace of mind, so yeah, use your imagination if you want to know what their fantasy is. They pulled apart from each other, not letting the other go. Is that what you were asking, Luna? Naruto asked, rubbing his nose against hers. Okay, did they get hit with the love poison potion, or are they just that much in love with each other? I know I'm the one writing this, but seriously, come on. It's exactly what I wanted, Luna said as her face grew red yet again. She's easy to blush, isn't she? Naruto, what would you say to being my cold friend? Although Naruto was new to love, he didn't want to ignore what his heart was telling him anymore. I wouldn't mind that at all, and yesterday I was so unsure of my feelings, and yet now I'm absolutely certain. Naruto ran his hoof through Luna's hair, watching as it sparkled like the stars in the sunlight. Why don't we go out today? Naruto asked, picking himself up along with Luna. Sure, I don't have anything planned, what about you? Luna retorted somewhat mockingly, in my opinion. Luna nudged Naruto to the side as she walked out of the little house meant for just them and maybe one more, but they didn't need any pony ruining their relationship that had now taken full bloom. So where are we going today? I thought we could just go walk around the town for as little bit, and then maybe grab something to eat together, like a couples do. Naruto blushed, still not believing how quickly he had turned to his heart's feelings. He looked to Luna and saw her blushing just as hard as he was. What do you think? Is it too soon for a first date? No, I just wasn't expecting you to ask me on a date so early, Luna said, smiling at the stallion she wanted to be with forever and ever. A little cheesy in my opinion, but that's how she was feeling. Sorry, I just wanted to be with you, that's all. This whole love thing is still rather new to me, Naruto said, scratching the back of his head with his hoof. Naruto walked up next to Luna and they went into Ponyville together. The minute they walked in there together, every pony looked at the princess with the demonic pony. Word from what happened at the festival spread fast, and every pony didn't want to be on Naruto's bad side, but they knew he didn't hurt any pony that was good, so they didn't avoid him. But they also didn't want too close to him either. It was very confusing, even for me, and I'm the damn writer. Luna could see the distress from Naruto as plainly as his cutie mark was red. It's okay, Naruto, I'm right here. Naruto looked to Luna, whose eyes were that of sapphires. He couldn't look away, but he couldn't look at them. He still remembered how easily he could have killed Luna, but he just kept saying that he would never do that no matter what. You can tell me anything, you know that, right, Naruto? Of course I do. I'm just a little hung up on the festival is all. Naruto was a little embarrassed that he was still thinking about that, and how easily it slipped from his mouth. I know that I shouldn't worry about it, but I just can't help but wonder what would have happened if I hadn't stopped. Nothing would have happened, Naruto. Luna was worried that her stallion might get stuck on the negatives and be depressed forever. Listen to me, as long as we are together, nothing will happen to you, okay? If you ever feel that kind of anger or even pain, be it large or small, tell me. I'll do my best to help you, even if that may cost my life. But I don't want it to come to that, Luna, don't you get it? I don't want you to have to die for me. You need to live your life the way you want to and not have to worry about some pony like me. I'm a demon, for crying out loud. How can you really care about some demon, one that could end up hurting you in the end? Naruto asked, looking down, tears rolling down his cheeks. He couldn't believe how emotional he was getting, but he felt that Luna was just playing him right now. He wasn't really sure if Luna did love him now. He was a demon, and even after yesterday she could still hate him. Luna pushed closer to Naruto, making him put his hooves around her neck. Luna then placed her hooves on his chest as they felt each other's beating hearts. Luna put her nose against Naruto's. He gave a light gasp of surprise from this. I don't care if you're a demon or the most evil being in the world, as long as I'm with you in your arms, I will always love you. Even if that means becoming my evil self again. I'd do it if it meant helping you. I will always love you, Naruto. Luna had tears running down her cheeks, and Naruto proceeded to wipe them away with his hooves. He then pulled her close, embracing this moment for it was worth. All around them, ponies were whistling at the display of affection that the two love ponies had for each other. Twilight just happened to be walking by with Spike when Naruto and Luna had embraced each other. Twilight smiled while Spike held his mouth from spewing out the jewels he had eaten earlier that morning. Guys, are you going to finish your little romantics? Not everyone here wants to see that, Spike said, feeling a greater sense of nausea come. Naruto blushed, jumping a little to the left as Luna just smiled, getting back to his side. You two looked like a newlywed couple just now, Twilight said, giving thoughts to Luna that were not necessary right now. You really think we look like a married couple? Luna asked, blushing with emotion as she held her cheek with a hoof. Naruto had a feeling he knew where this was going inside. Luna looked at Naruto then with mischievous eyes. Celestia, help him, just don't hurt Luna doing it. Yeah, if you two had a small colt or filly, you'd be like a full family. Speaking of which, Twilight pointed to a group of younger than the cutie mark crusaders, colts and fillies walking with two older maras. Why not adopt a baby and see how you do? What? Naruto said, trying to understand that Twilight was pushing their relationship a little too fast. Why would we want to have a colt or filly now? We just started our relationship literally 10-20 minutes ago. I don't want to have anything in the way of having to take care of Luna right now. Besides, I would need a job before I could even think of having or adopting a colt or filly. Guess all the love made him forget the job he already has. Mrs. Flash's bakery if you were wondering. He's got a point there, Twilight, Spike said, thinking clearly on the subject. Naruto felt good that someone, even though it was a dragon, was on his side. Let him decide whether or not if he wants to be a dad or not. I wasn't telling him to go right away and get a colt or filly, but it would make you 2 or 3 if you did happen to get a baby look like a complete family. Twilight wasn't wrong and Naruto knew that, but he didn't think he was ready for such a commitment. He still wasn't sure if he could safely date the mare he loved. Behind them, the 4 jealous Maras hid behind a house. Celestia used a spell to disguise herself as an average pony, white with the same hair color, only no wings or horn. Remedy was pulling on her tail with her mouth, trying hard not to blast Luna into oblivion. Applejack was just pacing back and forth while Pinkie Pie was trying to get a hold of what was just said by her friend Twilight. Really, it's like no matter what we try to do, those two get closer and closer, and it makes me sick to my stomach that my chosen one is in the hooves of some dark mare. Remedy was really jealous right now and really wanted to kill Luna. The only thing stopping her was Naruto, really. She didn't want him to hate her. Remedy, we haven't done much, you know that, right? Applejack said, knocking her in the head. Well, yeah, but we should be doing everything in our power to keep those two apart. We shouldn't be spying on them. Remedy left from behind the house, but Pinkie jumped on top of her. Could you please get off me, Pinkie Pie? Sorry, but if you go in there, you'll get in our way of getting Naruto to one of us, Pinkie said, dragging the princess back behind the home. We need to do this strategically or we won't ever get Naruto. Pinkie, you're starting to scare me right now, Applejack said, holding one of her hooves on Pinkie's shoulder. But you are right, we have to make sure that Naruto chooses one of us over Luna. Luna is our biggest obstacle and we have to get past that mare before we even think of getting Naruto. Agreed, without my sister gone, Naruto will undoubtedly pick her to marry. The 3 other Maras looked at her with wide eyes. I have done a little research and have found that couples such as Naruto and Luna are extremely likely to turn into more than just a mere friend and cold friend relationship. I know for a fact that they will marry if we do nothing. Princess, you can summon beasts, right? Remedy asked, looking mischievous at that moment. Celestia nodded her head with a little confusion, but also some understanding. Why don't we create a little situation where he saves one of us and get him away from Luna that way? That could work, but it could also work in reverse, Celestia said as she pondered on it further. We need to be sure that there isn't any other way. I will bring forth a strong beast if no pony else has a better solution. Well, I ain't got anything in my head right now, but who would we pick to be chased by this beast, Remedy? Applejack asked, thinking that there was more to Remedy's plan than she was letting on. So are you going to be the one that Naruto saves, or is it going to be all of us? All of us, of course. I need it to be as dangerous as you can possibly make it, though, Celestia. Something that not even you can stop. Remedy was getting a little mad with her idea. There is a dragon I know of, but whether or not he'll go along with it is another story, Celestia said, thinking of Discord, who no pony else but the 6 elements of harmony could defeat. No, not Discord. Naruto would crush him in no time, Remedy said, remembering how easily Naruto had crushed the apes that day at the festival. No, we need something that would cause Naruto to break the same way, but for us and not Luna. I will try my best, but remember that when this thing is summoned, only Naruto will be able to beat it. I will have drained all my energy summoning the beast. We need to go outside of Ponyville so that we are not seen. This is going to be seen here if I do it now, Celestia said, dropping her disguise and taking to the skies quickly so that no pony saw her. The other 3 Maras followed the shadow in the air until it came down onto the earth of the ground in a wide open meadow. Celestia had already begun the summoning of the beast. The other 3 looked as it came up from the ground. 1, 2, 3 heads sprouted from the summoning circle that lay in front of them, followed by 2 very large wings. Next came a large claw, followed by another claw, followed by the 2 hind legs and claws. It was a large 3-headed dragon, or really a hydra with wings, that looked at the 4 Maras with its 3 pairs of eyes. Now, Mr. Dragon, I wish to ask a favor. The princess took to the skies, getting in front of the dragon's middle head. I need you to chase us and try to kill us if that's all right. It will be my honor, princess, but I must ask why, the 3 heads said in unison. The 3 other Maras looked at the beast and were shocked to see that it spoke. Well, we need to get a stallion away from my sister, and we thought that you'd be the perfect one for the job. You wouldn't mind now, would you? Celestia said, winking at the beast. Of course not, but I will not really try to hurt you, but I will make it very convincing. Just don't expect there not to be any bruising, alright? The princess flew down to her companions in crime. Love crime, not real crime. If you are all aware of this, I will give you a 3-second head start. His eyes constricted, and he looked at them with hunger and a desire to feed. The Maras saw this and immediately ran the other way. The hydra smiled with all 3 heads, knowing this was going to be fun. He started to chase after them after 5 seconds had passed. He isn't that good with math. The Maras were running at full speed trying to get away from the beast, even though he wasn't trying to kill them. However, he said he would make it very convincing, if you remember. The hydra spewed fire from 2 mouths, almost hitting Applejack's tail along with Pinky's. Hey! They both shouted, jumping forward a little as the stomping of the beast got closer and closer. Celestia, isn't he not supposed to hit us? Applejack asked, feeling this was getting too close as a claw went right over her head, almost taking her hat off. He said that he was going to make it convincing. I didn't think he meant this, Celestia said as she was unable to unfurl her wings to get to the beast's ears. We have to get to Ponyville quickly. They had just gotten over a hill when the monster's cry got to the town of Ponyville. Naruto's ears shot up as he heard what sounded like screaming come from the same sound. Naruto dashed away, getting himself away from the girls and babies from the orphanage. His anger was rising as he recognized the screams to be that of his friends. He got to the edge of Ponyville to see them being chased by a large 3-headed hydra. How he knew what that was is astounding, and I'm writing this, folks. He charged forward as his red swirl was replaced with the demon's seal. His coat turned blonde like his mane, and he jumped in front of the beast, allowing the girls to get back to the town. I don't have a clue what's going on, but I'll die before I let you touch my friends. Naruto jumped at the beast, leaving a crater in the ground as his hoof connected with the beast's left head. The head looked like a rubber elastic as it bounced to and fro after being hit. Well, that actually hurt, my dear friend, but alas, we have a job to do and we need to get back to it, so excuse us. The hydra turned away from Naruto and headed for the 4 Maras, who then proceeded to retreat even further. Damn it! Naruto shouted, chasing after the beast, trying to get in front of it. Luna had just gotten to the edge of the town when she saw the hydra approaching the town. Luna ran to her sister, as they couldn't run anymore. What happened? Why are you so exhausted? Luna asked, readying herself for combat. Well, you'll probably hate us for this, sister, but we did this trying to get Naruto away from you, but I think we might have gone a little overboard, Celestia said, looking at her sister. Luna's body tensed as her energy increased greatly, almost to nightmares levels. Why, do you 3 want Naruto that much, especially you, sister? He's mine and no other Mara's got it, Luna said, taking to the skies, blowing wind at her sister and her companions. That's enough of this, Luna said, firing at the beast with her magic, but it hit air as it faded away, or flew off in another direction. Luna was beside herself that nothing was working. Naruto, down below, looked up to see his mare friend trying to fight the hydra with magic. Naruto knew that magic didn't affect hydras. Their skin and scales had magic in them that dispelled magic attacks. Only physical attacks could harm this thing. Luna, get out of there! Naruto cried, unable to shout above the cry of the hydra as it stood on its hind legs, reaching out for Luna. Luna flew down away from its claws, but it wasn't too long before the hydra had her in its clutches. Luna! Naruto jumped at the hydra's arm, trying to get at its joint, but he was intercepted by the beast's other claw, sending him into 5 different set of homes, crushing them. He lay there almost lifeless as he heard Luna cry out his name. Sorry, dear princess, but I was sent her on a job to get a certain stallion away from you. Can't have any pony in my way now, can I? His smile was malicious as his feet smashed into a home, almost killing the residents. He continued to do this, destroying home after home as he searched for the stallion that Celestia wanted to be with. Let me go this instant, Luna shouted, wanting to make sure Naruto was still alive. Why would you do this to the town? You have nothing to gain from it. I told you it's my job to keep you away from a stallion so that my employer can get to him before you. Luna's eyes widened when one of the heads licked its lips. In fact, we did say that we were going to make it convincing. Naruto! Luna shouted, stirring the almost lifeless corpse. Naruto looked up and watched in horror as the beast snapped its jaws on Luna, swallowing her whole. "Luna!" he heard Celestia cry out. She fell to the ground after that, having used up most of her energy. Naruto's anger was at its breaking point as a fire-like aura began to encompass him. He could feel his powers coming on, but he didn't hold them back this time. No, he let them come, and he was aware of everything that was happening. He himself was controlling his powers as they coursed throughout his body. He roared to the skies, getting the attention of both the Maras and the Hydra. His energy shot up like a geyser the longer he roared out. The energy began to die down, but Naruto didn't give it any time to do anything else as he shot right at the beast's guts, slamming into it. The beast was sent into the air, regurgitating Luna out of its stomach. Naruto shot from his position in the air, grabbing Luna and landing on his hind legs as 3 foxtails shot up from his demonic aura. Somehow he was controlling everything he was doing. He didn't know what, but he didn't care at the moment as he slowly placed Luna on the floor. He looked to his right and saw a katana sword laying there. He grabbed it with his hoof as his aura became a claw around his hoof, allowing him to hold the blade. He unsheathed it, watching the steel come forth, and he pointed it right at the Hydra, which just roared back at him. Luna's eyes opened slowly, and she saw her stallion in the same aura as he was when he lost control. She flew toward him, wrapping her arms around him. "Naruto, don't, you'll lose control again." "Sorry, Luna, but I have to do this." Luna was shocked when she heard his voice. "I am in control of this power right now, and I plan on using it to stop this thing right now." His aura tails lashed out as the Hydra fired spikes from its 2 claws at him. The small baby orphanage watched as the orange stallion kept the beast's attack at bay. "Celestia, wake up, you need to do something. He's about to protect Luna!" Remedy shouted, trying to wake the princess. "Dang it, she's not waking up!" "Who cares, we need to stop Naruto before he loses it in the town!" Pinky cried, sounding a little sensible. "Dang, a lot of weird things are happening today. Did some pony do something to the rider?" Luna released her stallion as he walked forward, the katana in his hoof being held by the power he had. "Well, this is going to be interesting, young stallion," the Hydra said, unfurling its wings and taking to the skies. Naruto jumped into the air, his tails lashing out at the air. "Interesting," the Hydra said as he sent a claw Naruto's way. Naruto roared out as he brought the katana in front of him, deflecting the attack. The Hydra again went with its claws and tried to slash, but Naruto deflected that attack as well. The Hydra may have been stronger than Celestia, but it wasn't stronger than Naruto at that point. Naruto was at least twice as strong as the monster. They continued parrying strikes, the katana becoming more infused with Naruto's demonic powers. Suddenly the hilt changed, growing a fox's mouth around the top of the hilt, and the blade had become as red or orange as the energy flowing around Naruto. Naruto looked at this blade and smiled. Now it was his and no pony else's. He sliced down at another attempt at his throat to get on the beast's arm. Naruto ran up the arm, running the blade through its scales and skin. Fire followed in Naruto's wake as he sliced off one head and fell to the earth. He landed, jumped back up as the other 2 came out from where the other had been cut. Naruto was just getting angrier, only increasing the amount of power that he had. The Hydra spewed flames, hitting Naruto, but he was unstoppable by that point as he just kept coming through the flames and quickly appeared in front of the 2 middle heads. He didn't slice them off, but he definitely sliced them up. He didn't let the heads come off because he knew they would just regenerate back. He did this incredible slashing movement not seen in Equestria that it was almost too impossible for any pony watching to believe. Naruto finished his slashing and shot up as the 8 eyes of the Hydra now looked up as Naruto put all his energy, even though it was still around him, into the blade and headed straight down. He sliced right through the thing, causing it to explode with the amount of power that was used. Don't worry, the Hydra wasn't killed, just sent back to its plane of existence. Thank goodness for that, or I would have to increase the rating to T. Naruto landed on the ground as all the power that was in him faded, but the power in his right hoof didn't leave as the sword remained attached to it. He tried to get it off of him, but it wasn't coming off. Naruto thought of the power in his right hoof leaving, and it did just like that. The sword dropped to the floor. Naruto then did the opposite, and the blade shot back up into his hoof. Now Naruto had a special magic with this sword. He dropped the sword and galloped over to its sheath, grabbing it with his mouth and heading over to the blade. He put power into both his hooves, allowing him to hold both the sheath and the sword as he sheathed the blade. The scabbard for the blade changed at that point, getting the demon seal that was on Naruto's flank splashed all over it. Naruto watched as a sash was created from the blade's scabbard as it wrapped itself around him, then squeezing so that it fit perfectly around his chest and back. It tied itself to his chest and then settled. Naruto has acquired the blade of the demon fox. Sorry, felt like I should put that in there for funnies. Naruto! Naruto turned to get slammed by Luna. They rolled on the ground and ended up in each other's arms when they stopped. I thought you were going to lose it there for a minute. You really had me scared, Luna said, putting her face in his chest. You shouldn't worry so much, Luna, but I'm a little confused as to why I had control of my powers now when I know I felt even stronger than that time at the festival, Naruto said, picking himself and Luna up. His powers were still there but almost gone. He could feel them leaving as his anger began to calm down. Luna, maybe we should go home now. First things first though, sister. Naruto backed away, never really seeing Luna angry before. Now explain to me why you summoned the great hydra. Well, you see, Remedy thought that Naruto would come to one of us if he saved us. She came up with the idea of bringing forth something stronger than me, so I chose our friend. I didn't, however, expect him to eat you. That wasn't part of the plan. The whole plan was to get Naruto and you to separate, Celestia said, only confusing Naruto. What she means, Naruto, is that Luna ain't the only one with feelings for ya. Naruto's eyes widened as the four Maras in front of him smiled. Remedy looked away, feeling a little embarrassed. He had no idea that more Maras could possibly have feelings for him, but his heart belonged to Luna, that much he was sure. Today's burst of power allowed him to realize the true feelings he had. He knew if he lost it he could have killed Luna instead of saving her, only it felt different this time. It was almost like he had nothing to lose by using his powers. Well, this is a little awkward now, isn't it? Pinky said, bouncing up and down. You can't blame us though. I mean, how many stallions do you know who can do what you can do? It doesn't matter, Naruto shouted, feeling angry and rage-filled. Luna could have been seriously hurt, and you're all okay with that. I'm not. I love Luna with all my heart, that I am now truly certain of. So I guess I have to say thank you to that. But never again try to think that doing such a thing will get me to like you. I already do, so what are you trying to do that for? We want you to be in love with us, you idiot, Remedy said as she started walking away. Why else would we do something so stupid? Well, that's all I needed to hear, Luna said as she turned to leave. But there's something that must come first, the town. Every pony there looked around and saw the mess that had been created. Celestia was the most horrified because she had been the one to summon the beast. We're going to need to get to work as quickly as possible, sister. Agreed. I will get our best ponies on this. I also don't think I'll be in Ponyville for a while, Celestia said as she took to the skies. Don't worry, she'll be alright, but that's going to be the last time she does anything like that, Luna said, stomping the ground, making Naruto sigh. Naruto, I'm really sorry that this happened. It is somewhat my fault. Luna, none of this is your fault. Again, I don't know how you get these ideas in your head, but you really need to stop with it, Naruto said, embracing his mare. He held her close as her hooves were quickly wrapped around him. Yeah, just because you love each other doesn't mean that we're going to just stop trying to win you over, Naruto. You are still my chosen one, Naruto, Remedy said, walking away from the area, leaving her two companions behind. Well, I definitely won't be trying to get in the way of you guys anymore, Pinky said, smiling. Believe it or not, I Pinky promise not to get in either of your ways of being together. Naruto smiled at Pinky, knowing she was telling him the truth. I wish you both the best of luck. Same here, Naruto. I don't want you to hate me or anything. I'll be happy knowing that you're happy. Don't worry about Remedy though, she probably won't try anything either, but none of us knows what goes on in that head of hers, Applejack said as she and Pinky left the area. Once they were out of sight, Luna rushed Naruto again. She put her cheek against his and they rubbed up against each other. I need to know, were you thinking of them when they were in danger? Luna asked, looking down. Truth is, I wasn't really worried about them. All I could think about was you, Luna, and no pony else. Every other pony was just an afterthought. I didn't care if any pony else got hurt. They could have died for all I cared. Naruto looked away from Luna, feeling disgusted with himself for not having any real care for other ponies. But I wasn't going to let you get hurt. At first it was about helping the other girls, but once they got past you, all my thoughts were of you. Naruto, it's alright, but why aren't you looking at me? Luna asked, trying to get her stallion to look at her. She tried putting her face in front of his, but he just moved away and continued to look away. He felt more like a monster, because he was ready to destroy the town to rescue Luna from that hydra. Naruto, please tell me what's wrong. I want to help you. Are you sure you want to know? Naruto asked, feeling his powers coming up to him again. Luna put her hoof against his cheek, nodding her head. I was ready to kill everything just like last time, only I was in control of myself this time. Even if it was a lucky break, I can't deny the thoughts that were in my head. I wanted everything gone, the town, the ponies living here, your sister, Remedy. I wanted everything to just die and give you back to me. I was ready to slay small children if it meant getting you back. I'm nothing more than a monster, a greater demon. Luna slapped Naruto at that comment. Naruto looked at the mare. He loved to see her crying with anger in her eyes. She grabbed his face and brought it close, covering his lips with hers. The kiss was short but was filled with love from the blue mare. Stop calling yourself a monster, Naruto. You were just angry, and I know how you get now when you're angry, especially if it involves me. You shouldn't be so afraid that I may leave you. I would never leave you, no matter what had a hold over me. Even if I did become Nightmare Moon again, I would still love you. Even that part of me loves you, and I'm really happy that it does. Luna, it's not that. Weren't you listening? I was ready to smash in that group of orphans if it meant rescuing you. How can you possibly still say that you'd stay with me after that? Naruto had tears running down his face as he looked at the mare he loved with pain in his heart. Because I know that you wouldn't have done it. Even if you were mad with power, you have a heart of gold, Naruto. Nothing could make you a merciless killer like Shadow. You're my heart's desire, and I know for a fact there's not an ounce in you that's evil. Luna put her cheek against his and rubbed it against it, only driving Naruto into embracing her in his hooves. That's my Naruto. Luna, thank you so much for still believing in me, but are you sure? What if I actually do what I just say? Would you still love me? Naruto asked, holding her close. Of course. Luna responded, holding him tighter. I would follow you into the deepest darkness if it meant being with you forever. That's all I want, Naruto, to be with you. It's all I ever dream and think about nowadays. Naruto held her tighter. Even though the force he was using could have broken her back, he wanted to know that this wasn't a dream, that this was the real Luna in his arms. Thank you, Luna, it's the same with me in some ways, but I'm just happy that you'd go with me into darkness if it meant being together, because that's what I would do. Either that or I would kill myself if it meant being apart from you. I wouldn't be able to live with these powers or images that keep coming into my head without you. I'll never leave you, Naruto, no matter how much other Maras try to get in my way. I will never let you go. Not even the grip of death could stop me from wanting to be with you. Luna held him just as tightly, and before they knew it, the two of them were finding it harder to breathe. They loosened their grips and began to laugh to one another. Excuse me, but are you the one with the strange powers? Naruto turned his head to see one of the Maras with the orphans standing before him. Naruto nodded his head with slight hesitation. Well, the little ones want to tell you something. Thank you, mister. All the small kids said as one. They were all smiling except for one that caught Naruto's attention. The young filly unicorn was white like Rarity, but had blue hair that looked like cotton candy. She wasn't smiling or even looking at him, and that seemed to catch his eye. Why, he didn't know, but he felt that the filly was hurting inside just by the look in her eyes. You're very welcome, kids. I hope I don't have to do what I did anytime soon, but I'd do it if it meant saving the town and the mare I love, Naruto said, standing up. Speaking of which, we need to get home, Luna. Shall we go then? Yeah, let's go home and just relax from this hectic day. Luna agreed with her stallion as they both walked away back to their home together, Luna's wing draped over her stallion. Their hearts and mind were filled with nothing but thoughts of the other, as was the normal occurrence for them. But this was a little different because both of them at the same time thought how wonderful it would be if they were married. Celestia, stay away from them. That also means you, Remedy. Luna woke up to the feeling of Naruto's hoof running through her hair. It had been a couple months since Naruto's episode. There had still been no sign of Shadow, which worried everyone in Canterlot and Ponyville, but no one paid any mind to it because they had Karnak watching over them. The whole town was now aware of Naruto's powers, and he was either hailed a hero or a monster. The town argued both points with each other, as they couldn't come to an in-between. However, with the help of Twilight and Princess Luna, the town soon just thought of Naruto as one of their own. Naruto was happy to have a place where he felt he belonged, and was happy that he was able to share it with the mare he loved so dearly. He got up out of the bed and stretched out, getting ready for the day. He had to get to Miss Flash's pastry store before he was fired for being late, again. Luna stood up and looked toward her stallion, feeling a great sense of want, but she didn't know what she wanted from him. It didn't really feel that important, so Luna decided that it was best to forget about it. "Naruto, what are you doing?" Luna asked as she watched Naruto slicing the air with his hoof. "Oh, I'm practicing my sword swing, that's all," Naruto said, grabbing the fox sword from the corner of the house. As he put it around his back, he looked around the house and saw just how much they had gotten done in so few months. However, there was still a lot of cleaning left to do, and Naruto was happy that Luna didn't mind helping him. Truth is, Naruto didn't want Luna getting herself dirty trying to help fix up the house, but she insisted, saying that it was also her home too. Naruto didn't know what Luna meant by that, but he felt happy about it. "Why would you be doing something like that, Naruto?" Luna asked, feeling confused. She has seen him swinging the sword, but she didn't know why he was using that when he didn't really need that due to his immense strength. "Well, I want to be ready to use it when the time comes, and I've never really used a sword before, so I thought I'd do some simple swings to get started," Naruto said as he continued swinging the sword up and down like a samurai would. "Okay, but that still doesn't explain why you would need to practice." Naruto stopped swinging the sword and looked at Luna with a confused expression. He didn't quite understand what she was talking about. "I mean, the way you used it against the Great Hydra was pretty good. I don't see why you would need to practice." "I see your point, Luna, but I want to be sure that I know what I'm doing. What if I don't practice and the sword goes flying off and almost hits you? I don't want you to be in any danger at all," Naruto said, looking down at the ground. Luna could see the worry on his face and just sighed, walking over to him. She put a hoof on his face and turned it to her. She put her lips on his cheeks and high smile came, the one Luna loved to see. "That's the Naruto I love. By the way, do you remember the orphanage that we saw the other day?" Luna asked as she walked back over to the sink to finish up the dishes. "Yeah." Naruto remembered it all right. He especially remembered that filly that looked like she was in some kind of pain. He couldn't explain it, but he felt like he had some kind of connection with the little filly. Again, he couldn't explain it. All he could say was that he felt something when he saw the filly. In fact, for the past couple of days he's had dreams about the filly getting herself into trouble and him having to rescue her. He smiled after all the times the little filly would cry and ask to be held by him. Luna was in those dreams, but it was like the little filly wanted Naruto all to herself, and would always look at Luna with a death-like stare. It always seemed to push Luna back, but Naruto always brought her closer, and they would all laugh it off. They acted like a family. When the word family went through his head, he looked to Luna, who was humming to herself even after she had finished the dishes in the sink that they had. He began to think what it would be like to have a family, but then he thought that his job with Miss Flash wasn't getting him the money that he really needed, and he was having to take care of Luna as well. He didn't think he could take care of another pony in this house. But then he thought of that little filly and felt like he could help her in some way. He didn't know why, but he did feel some kind of connection when he saw that filly. "Hey Luna," Naruto asked, looking at the ground in thought. "Do you happen to know where that orphanage is?" Luna turned her head to look at him and was a little confused as to why he would want to know where an orphanage is. "Naruto, is there something wrong?" Luna asked, turning her body to face him. "That's a pretty strange question." "Sorry, but I just wanted to know is all," Naruto said, scratching the back of his head. Truthfully, he felt like the question felt strange coming out of his mouth, but he wanted to see that little filly for some reason, why he didn't know. But he was determined to see her. "I really want to see that orphanage, to see what it's like to be around a child." Luna didn't know what Naruto was talking about, until an idea popped in her head. She began to wonder something that normally couples don't think about until after marriage. Is he thinking what I think he's thinking? Luna was blushing heavily as Naruto turned to look out of the window. Is he thinking about having a child, but that would mean he and I would have to? Luna then slammed her head into the floor, which caused Naruto to turn around in surprise. He looked down and saw Luna's head in the floor and just sighed because it was probably something that she thought up that wasn't really true, but for some reason he couldn't help laughing after he sighed. She just looked so ridiculous. He couldn't help but laugh out loud. That's when Luna came shooting up out of the ground. She looked to be on fire. Maybe a demon was inside of her. Naruto was looking at her with fear on his face as he was trying to come up with a good excuse for laughing at her. Why were you laughing? She said in a soft but very threatening tone. Did I do something that was funny to you? No, not really, just found you slamming your head into the ground to be funny, I guess. Naruto said, still trying to save his life from what appeared to be the scariest look Luna has ever given him. Then again he was up against Luna, the mare he loved and the mare he would never lay a finger on no matter what. He was definitely thinking that this might actually be his death day with the way Luna was looking at him. Oh, so whenever I slam my head into the ground it's funny? She asked with her cheeks red, but her voice was anything but nervous. How about I laugh at every time you get slammed into a wall? That's not what I meant, Luna. Luna's rage seemed to be calming, but it wasn't really all that calm though. It's just lately I've been having trouble wondering if I'm a good guy or if this demon in me is going to take over and kill everyone. Luna's rage stopped at that point, but her anger was still there. However, she was now getting concerned. She thought he had gotten over this a few days ago, at least that's what he told her then anyways. I just feel as though the town only went along with it because you and Twilight's words moved them. However, what if they still remain the same, and what if they take it out on you and the others? If anyone were to hurt you, I don't know if I'd be able to. Naruto dropped the sword and fell to his knees as the thoughts of killing every living thing came into his head. He grabbed his head as the onslaught of thoughts was almost unbearable. It soon became too unbearable and he screamed to the heavens. His voice actually reached the town of Ponyville. Luna had lost all feeling of anger as she watched her love in more pain than she's ever seen. She knew that he got thoughts, but she never imagined that they'd actually hurt him. She didn't know what to do, but all she could do was put her arms around him to stop him from thrashing around. She knew it was dangerous with how powerful Naruto was, but she loved him more than anything. However, she was afraid of getting hurt, but if it helped Naruto, she didn't care. Naruto was still thrashing about, and actually ran right into a wall, smashing Luna right into it. But that didn't make Luna let him go. She was determined to help him even if it meant her life. Which I think is crazy. I don't care how much you love the guy, just do what you did when he went all berserk at the festival. It worked there, why not now? Naruto, it's okay, I'm right here. Naruto seemed to stop thrashing around as his eyes were shaking in his head. The eyes themselves were incredibly small as the pain was still going through him. I'm right here, just think of me, Naruto. Naruto's body just fell into Luna and she was surprised, almost falling down with him. If that had happened, Naruto would have been on top of her. The thought of that made Luna blush a little, but she still held Naruto in her arms. She didn't want to let him go until she was sure those thoughts were out of his head. Naruto began to breathe normally again as he put his hooves on Luna's shoulders. He looked at her and saw that all his thrashing had injured Luna. He felt like an even bigger monster than he already thought. How could he hurt the mare he loved so much? He couldn't believe that simple thoughts drove him to that. Luna, I. Naruto was stopped when Luna put her hoof over his mouth. She held him tightly, resting her chin on his shoulder. Thank goodness that's over. I was worried you would have gone on for hours, Luna said as a tear ran down her face. However, she couldn't tell if it was from her happiness or the enormous amount of pain she was in from Naruto thrashing around. Naruto couldn't believe that she did something so stupid. She should have let him just suffer with the thoughts. He believed that they were who he really was. All these terrible thoughts in his mind, he believed were what he was meant to do, kill and nothing else. You shouldn't have stopped the thoughts, Luna. Luna pushed away from him and looked into his eyes and saw an emptiness that was never there before. What do you mean? I wasn't going to sit there and watch you suffer. I love you too much, Naruto. Luna said, trying to bring the life back into his eyes. You should have. Naruto stood up and walked away from her. Luna was worried that Naruto was going to force the memories to come back, and she didn't want him to do that because she just wanted Naruto to smile. I need to face this myself. If I really want to not be a monster, I need to face these thoughts that no pony, even one with a demon, should have. That's true, but you don't have to do it alone. Naruto looked over at Luna with confused eyes. You're always protecting and saving me from certain peril. I can barely do anything to help you out, so I figured that the best way I can help the stallion I love is to be there for him in his darkest hours, where he's in the most pain. It doesn't matter how many times you tell me not to be there for you. I will always be there for you, Naruto. You're my co-friend, and I'm not going to let anything happen to you. Luna, I hurt you. Aren't you upset about that? The stallion you love so much just hurt you severely. And you sound like nothing even happened to you. Naruto was feeling like she thought of him as a monster now, but then again he felt that way about everyone. He felt that everyone he knew thought of him as a monster in some way. He wished that this demon wasn't inside of him. I don't care if I got hurt, Naruto. Naruto looked at her in shock. How could she not care what happens to her? I don't care because you don't really care how worried I get when you go into a fight. Do you have any idea how worried I am, even though I know that you're going to win? Suddenly a tear fell from Luna's eye, and that had Naruto rethinking what he thought about Luna. Luna, why do you worry? It's not like anything bad is going to happen to me, Naruto said, walking over to her and placing a hoof on her cheek. That's just it though, Luna said, turning around and walking away from Naruto this time. I do worry about you. What if something bad does happen and you end up dying? Do you have any idea what I would do to myself if you left this world, Naruto? Naruto looked at her with wide eyes as he got a few ideas in his head, and none of them were good ones. Luna, that's crazy talk, Naruto said, trying to make her change the subject. But that's not exactly how you would change a subject. I'm not crazy, Naruto. I would kill myself if anything happened to you, but first I would brutally kill whoever hurt you first, Luna said, looking at him with rage and sadness in her eyes. Naruto thought of Luna brutally killing another pony, and for some reason he gulped because he feared if he made her mad, what would she do to him? I wasn't saying you're crazy. I'd never say anything like that. I'm saying the way you're talking is crazy, totally different thing, Naruto said, trying to calm her down. Actually, Naruto, they pretty much mean the same thing, Luna said, and she's kind of right, because saying someone's saying are crazy is almost the same as telling them they're crazy, only you're using the words as cover. Naruto looked at her and was beginning to run out of ideas to stop Luna from thinking these thoughts. The more tears that fell from her face, the more he wanted to smash his face against the wall. But then again, he didn't want the house coming down on top of them, so he decided that wasn't the best course of action, at least here at the moment. Every time I see you fight, my heart begins to ache because I can't help but think, what if this is his last fight? Or, is he going to come out of this okay? All these different sayings just pop in my head and I can't do anything to stop them. I don't care what you think of yourself, Naruto, because I know what you are. You are completely reckless and don't listen to reason. So far you've done everything that has almost given me a heart attack. The more words that came out of her mouth, the more Naruto's head fell closer to the floor. But in spite of that, you've risked your life for mine, and you even showed everyone this power that you possess because I got hurt. It seems like if you weren't here, I'd be Nightmare Moon right now and we would be enemies, Luna said, which made Naruto's eyes widen. No, we wouldn't. Naruto's head came up slowly but didn't rise all the way as he walked closer to Luna. She raised a hoof up in slight surprise because she didn't expect that. When his head came up fully, his eyes opened and they looked into Luna's as though they were piercing right into her very soul. Luna was a little freaked out by this. Luna, even if you were Nightmare Moon, I don't know why, but I feel as though even if that happened to you and I would still be like this, by each other's side, in love with each other. But what if he showed up when I was Shadow's mistress? What if I was deeply in love with him? Luna asked, trying to see what would come next. She was interested that Naruto felt this way about them, but she wanted to hear what he had to say about this. So what, if we love each other as much as we do, then I believe that something brought us together, Luna. I can't explain it any other way. We would have fallen in love whether we wanted to or not. What would you say, Luna? Naruto asked, feeling like she was hiding something from him now. Truth is, I think the same way and I don't know why. As my sister would probably say, it was fate that brought us together, Naruto, and fate wanted the two of us to be together. I don't care if it was fate or dumb luck that I met you. I haven't been happier in all my life. Luna's tears were really coming now. Naruto didn't want her to start crying like this. That was the last thing he wanted. When I first met you, I thought I was just going crazy at first, but then I started to realize why I wanted you around me all the time, why I can't stand it when you're alone with another girl. Sure, I may have embarrassed myself a few times, but I wanted to know if what I felt was true. Luna looked up into Naruto's eyes and she saw the concern in them. It was massive compared to the other times, but that wasn't all she saw in his eyes. She saw love in them as well, almost as if the words she had just told him made him love her even more. Luna went on to tell him that she had followed him on his little date with Pinkie Pie and a few other things that happened during the months they had been together, where she did everything possible to be with him. She felt like she may have been obsessing over him, and she didn't want him freaking out about that, but she felt this was going to come out either by her or by Remedy, and she didn't want that mare doing anything to jeopardize her and Naruto's relationship. I'm sorry, Naruto, I really am an MMH? She was silenced as Naruto's lips covered hers. Luna was in shock for a few seconds but soon fell to the spell that the kiss put upon her. She wrapped her hooves around his neck, and he put his arms around her waist, and they began to passionately kiss each other. When they finally came up for air, they were both looking at each other differently. Naruto saw how much Luna really loved him, and what she was willing to do to be with him. Luna saw how much Naruto cared about her, and saw how far he would go to keep her safe and to be in her loving arms. Oh right, you wanted to know where that orphanage was, right? Luna asked, blushing from how easily they had gotten into that conversation. Oh that's right, I guess we really got caught up in that conversation, huh? Naruto said as he then began to laugh, but he was happy they had gone through that conversation. So yeah, do you know where it is? No, I'm sorry, Naruto. But I think we know someone who does. Naruto looked at Luna with a confused face. He had no idea who she could be talking about. Luna and Naruto were at the front of Twilight's doorstep, and Naruto still wasn't sure if he should, or if he shouldn't ask Twilight, considering that she also lived here. And by her I mean Remedy. Naruto, are you really that nervous? After all, they are our friends, Luna said, looking at him a little questioningly. She thought that he was making a big deal out of this for nothing. Then again, this is Naruto, not that uncommon. It's not that, Luna. I'm just worried she's going to start a fight with you, and the last thing I need is for you two to get in a fight, because then it's going to come to me and then every pony is going to start yelling at me. I don't need that today. Naruto just wanted to know where an orphanage was, nothing else really. And the last thing he needed was more drama. He got enough of that daily with Luna, although he enjoyed that drama. They came to the door and Naruto was already nervous. His forehead was sending thousands of sweat drops down to the floor. Before Luna knew what had happened, she was standing in a puddle of Naruto's sweat. Luna looked at him and sighed. She then used her magic and sent the puddle of sweat away and then slapped Naruto across the face. Naruto put a hoof on his face and looked at Luna, who was looking ahead with her eyes closed. Luna, what was that for? Naruto snapped as Luna just opened her right eye slightly, which made Naruto squint his eyes at her. I don't want you being nervous right now. If you hadn't guessed, girls see that as a sign of weakness and will use that against you, and I don't need her trying to seduce my stallion. Luna's eyes were now on fire, as though if that did happen she would murder Remedy. Naruto wouldn't put it past her at all, considering what her sister did. That hydra almost killed her, and it was the doing of both her sister and Remedy's idea. Just promise me you won't kill any pony while we're here, all right? Naruto said, breathing a sigh. Very well then, but if she goes at you once, I swear she's going to be an ornament on a wall, Luna said, getting in Naruto's face. Naruto backed up a bit, feeling like Luna was going to pin him up on the wall. He wouldn't put it past her either. From some of the stories he's heard of the Alicorn, she's not exactly that friendly when it comes to things she cares about, like her moonlit nights. That's the reason she became Nightmare Moon, as far as Naruto knew anyways. Luna smiled, feeling like Naruto wasn't going to do anything he shouldn't, but then again she couldn't account for that mare. She was a loose cannon around Naruto, and he was her stallion, not hers. Why did she have to be so persistent? Naruto loved Luna, not Remedy, but Luna couldn't understand why Remedy was so persistent of her stallion. It just didn't make any sense. Luna knocked on the door, and soon after Naruto and Luna heard a voice inside. "I'll get it, Twilight, don't worry about it." It sounded like Spike, Twilight's assistant. Luna and Naruto watched as the doorknob turned. When the door opened, standing in front of them was the small purple and green dragon. "Oh, Naruto, Luna, what are you two doing here?" "We came to see Twilight. Is it okay if we come in?" Luna asked with a smile on her face. Naruto took a peek and afterwards he smiled. He loved looking at Luna's smile because it always made him happy. "No problem, come on in. Twilight was just giving Remedy some advice on her dilemma with you know who," Spike said, pointing to Naruto, who just dropped his head, feeling like that mare would never give it up until he finally left Ponyville. Either that or he would have to be dead. He didn't want to do either one because he wanted to be with Luna no matter what it took, and if he had to endure this mare, he would do it for Luna. "Twilight!" Spike shouted, catching the two ponies off guard. "Naruto and Luna are here to see you!" At the end of that sentence, a black flash shot from the top of the stairs down to the two ponies waiting for the purple mare. In front of Naruto, no more than a few inches, was Remedy with a smile upon her face. "Why, hello Naruto, what brings you by today?" Remedy was inching closer to Naruto's face. But before she even got within 5 inches, she was thrown into a shelf. All the books on that shelf then started to fall down onto Remedy. Naruto looked over to Luna and saw that her eyes were a dark navy blue color, and her horn was glowing brighter than usual. Naruto was surprised to see this kind of power coming from her. Then again, she did say that if Remedy tried anything, she would throw her through a wall, so I guess that meant she was showing a little restraint. At least to Naruto, that's what it looked like. Luna, after she was done huffing and puffing from sending Remedy into the bookshelf disaster, composed herself and blushed, looking away from Naruto. Naruto smiled because he knew that Luna was only trying to keep other Maras from him. He also knew this was one being a little modest with herself. "What the heck was that for Luna?" Remedy shouted, coming out from the books. "Nothing really, but if you don't mind, don't get that close to Naruto," Luna said, giving Remedy what Naruto thought to be a death stare. At least she wasn't giving him the death stare, he hated that. Then again, most men and stallions hate getting the death stare. I know that I do. "Oh, what, so I can't ask a friend a question, is that it?" Remedy asked, getting in Luna's face. Naruto sighed, feeling like their weekly argument was about to happen right before his eyes. "Girls, can we not fight, please?" Naruto asked, hoping that they might calm down if he asked nicely. "Stay out of this!" They both shouted, causing Naruto to back away to the wall. Well, asking nicely didn't work at all. Hope Naruto has a plan B. "What do I do now?" Naruto whispered to himself, watching as the girls looked ready to go at it. So much for a plan B. May whatever gods are there help him and the residents of Twilight's home. "What's your idea of getting in my cult friend's face, huh?" Luna asked as her horn was beginning to glow again. "You know he's mine and I will not hand him over." "Oh, I didn't know Naruto was your personal property. I'm sorry for trying to take your precious toy." Remedy's horn was glowing too. Naruto was worried now, as their words got so bad that I cannot write them down without turning this story to a rated M. Twilight was hearing everything from her upstairs room and just sighed. She went to look over the stairs and had to duck because a book flew right at her. "What the heck is going on down there?" Twilight said out loud, trying to view what could possibly be going on. "Twilight!" Twilight turned to her left and saw Naruto. He looked somewhat terrified of the fight that was going on at the moment. More importantly, she was wondering what he was even doing here. "I never intended for this to happen." Twilight's horn glowed and she went away in some bubble of magic, and then reappeared next to Naruto in another bubble of magic. "Well, it looks like they're at it again," Twilight said, only getting Naruto to sigh and drop his head. "What started it this time?" "Remedy got too close to my face, that's what happened. Then Luna sent her into that bookshelf over there, and hen this all started," Naruto said, feeling like this would never end, not even in his later years. "Well, I can understand why Luna would do such a thing. I mean, she's done everything so that she could be with you, and she doesn't want any pony getting near you like that." She's made it pretty clear to every pony else in town, but I don't think Remedy is going to quit until some other stallion shows up that she falls head over hooves in love with," Twilight said, only making Naruto grow pale. "Great, so you're telling me that I'm going to have to live with this until some other pony comes around and takes Remedy?" Naruto said as his body started to tremble. Twilight backed away, a little afraid of what was about to happen. "I can't live like that. Having to deal with this every week is going to drive me insane," Naruto said as he started to stumble, and then finally fell to the floor. A little white ghost of what appeared to be his soul came out of his mouth. Luna and Remedy both started arguing when they heard Naruto fall to the ground. They both looked in his direction, but before Remedy could even make a move, Luna was already by his side trying to wake him up. "Naruto? Naruto? What are you doing on the ground, and why aren't you breathing?" Luna screamed as she started to panic. Twilight had a feeling he knew why Naruto did this, so she had an idea. "Hey Luna," Twilight said, getting the mare's attention even though she was still moving her hooves up and down. "Is your argument with Remedy over?" "Yes, of course it is. What's important right now is getting Naruto to breathe again." However, at the words "yes it is," the little spirit thing sticking out of Naruto's mouth had gone back in his mouth. Then his face got its orange color again, and he jumped up and looked like some strong man trying to show off his muscles. "Naruto?" Luna was in shock at how quickly he seemed to recover from that. "It's about time you guys stopped that whole arguing thing. I mean, it does get kind of annoying," Naruto said, smiling at her. Luna blushed because the smile was a warm one that Luna didn't expect. "I can't stand it when you and Remedy start arguing over something as trivial as my feelings for you, Luna. That happened because I thought it would never end. That and the thought of this happening every week scares me to the point of death." "Really?" Luna asked as she looked back at Remedy, who just glared at Luna with great amounts of hate. "Well then, I guess I'm just going to have to try and not get into any more arguments with Remedy then. I don't want Naruto to lose his mind because of something like that." "Listen Luna, I don't care what you think Naruto is to you. He will one day see that I am meant to be his true love, and I just hope you're ready for when that day comes," Remedy said as she continued to glare at Luna. "As much as I would love to argue that with you, I won't to keep Naruto from passing out again. That and that little ghost thing sticking out of his mouth was freaky," Luna said as she looked to Naruto, who just laughed away. "Oh, that's right," Naruto said as he stopped laughing and turned to Twilight. He put both of his hooves onto Twilight's shoulders, slightly freaking her out, but it also made Luna and Remedy blush and have fire in their eyes. "Twilight," Naruto looking deep into her eyes. Twilight was nervous because if Naruto did something stupid, this could end badly, and then cause Luna to go crazy. Which, if anyone knows Luna's history, isn't a good thing. "Do you know where the orphanage is? You know, the one I protected last week?" Twilight and the girls all looked at him shocked. The three of them didn't see that coming at all. A little surprised that Luna didn't, since that was the main reason they came in the first place. Twilight shook her head and smiled even though she had a sweat drop falling down her face. Naruto quickly realized what he had done, and then laughed as he walked back a little, hoping Luna didn't send him, or Twilight, into a wall again. "Is that the reason you two came over here?" Twilight asked as she felt all the nerves that were in her body vanish in a brink second. "Why didn't you ask me that? Why did you have to get us all worked up like that?" Twilight was angry, but not really as angry as Luna was, however she wasn't showing it. "Sorry, guess it was all the drama. Guess it got to me is all. I'm really sorry about that though. That's the last thing I would have done after the whole arguing between those two," Naruto said as he tried laughing but found it hard with Luna giving him the stare down. Yeah, wasn't a good stare down either. "Well, if you need to know where it is, I can tell you it isn't that far away," Twilight said as she went to the window closest to her. "You know the Mrs. Flash's bakery. You know where you work, Naruto?" Naruto nodded his head. Truth is, he's been so busy helping with the repairs of the town that he hadn't been to work in a while. "Well, if you go a little bit further down that road, you'll see what looks like a school building. Just behind that you'll find the orphanage. I've been there myself, had to fill in for some pony who was sick that day, and it wasn't easy, let me tell you," Twilight said as she remembered how difficult it was to get them all to calm down. She was surprised at how all the other staff members survived through the day. Naruto nodded his head, looking calmer, and for some reason serious. Luna saw this in him and was a little shocked. The only other time he's ever like this is when he's fighting, but other than that he's normal old Naruto. Come on Luna, we gotta go see how the kids are doing, Naruto said in a firm voice which again shocked not just her but every pony in the room. Naruto walked out without Luna because she was still a little shocked at what just happened. It didn't take Luna long though before she snapped out of her shock and caught up with Naruto. Naruto looked to be walking with a purpose. Luna was worried that there was something that he wasn't telling her. She wanted to ask him, but she thought that he might get mad at her. She didn't want him angry with her, so she didn't say anything. As they came in front of the bakery, Naruto saw Mrs. Flash taking out some of the trash and decided to help her. Oh Naruto, how are you these days? Mrs. Flash asked as Naruto was a little confused as to why she wasn't mad with him. Oh, don't be shocked, I know you have a lot on your plate, Naruto, having to take care of some pony like Luna. Not only is she your mere friend, but she's a princess at that. Oh well, I'm sorry that I haven't been around in a while. We're going to an orphanage right now. When we're done there, I promise you tomorrow that I'll be back here to help you out with everything, Naruto said with a fire in his eyes which was a little weird. It was like he was going to enjoy working for some pony again. Luna loved seeing Naruto so fired up, but she still didn't understand why Naruto wanted to go see this orphanage. It's not like they were going to try and start a family or something. Oh, and why would you be going to an orphanage? Mrs. Flash looked at Naruto a little deviously, which scared him a bit because he had never seen her look this way. Oh, you two lovebirds are trying to start a family, aren't you? Naruto looked at her with wide eyes. Luna saw Naruto looking like this and began thinking that he couldn't possibly be thinking of doing that. And no, Mrs. Flash, what would make you think that idea? Naruto said, trying to keep himself from looking too embarrassed. I just wanted to see how every pony was doing over there. I mean, they were in the middle of that hydra attack. Oh, I had no idea. Mrs. Flash felt a little dumb for thinking that Naruto was trying to build a family with Luna, but she also thought why he didn't. Naruto was madly in love with Luna, so why didn't he start a family with her? More importantly, why hasn't he asked her to marry him yet? Naruto was worried that Mrs. Flash was going to ask him why he hasn't asked Luna to marry him yet. He hasn't found the time or any ring he felt was worthy of Luna. Naruto, are you ever going to ask Luna to dash? She was cut off as Naruto threw a hoof into her mouth, not a punch, more of the point to where you don't want someone or some pony to say something you don't want asked at this particular moment. Naruto looked over to Luna, who just looked a little confused as to why Naruto just did that. Naruto leaned over to Mrs. Flash's ear and began whispering. Yes, I plan on asking Luna to marry me, but I haven't found the right ring yet. I want it to be special, you know, Naruto said as he looked into the face of his employer somewhat pleadingly. He didn't want her telling Luna anything. I understand, Naruto, don't worry. But you really should hurry up though, Mrs. Flash whispered. You don't know what those other four might have planned to tear you and Luna apart. Naruto felt rage flow through his body at that point. He could feel the demonic powers inside of him beginning to rise. It took everything he had to calm down. Luna easily saw that Naruto was about to go demon, but she wondered why. I won't ever let any pony take Luna from me, and there's nothing that those four Maras can do that would ever make me hate or want to be away from Luna, Naruto said a little louder than a whisper. Luna heard this and was a little taken aback. And by a little louder than a whisper, I meant much louder, to the point where he was almost screaming. It wasn't new things that Luna had heard, but it always made her happy to hear him say things like that. It made her feel really special to Naruto that he would proclaim something out to the world like that. Her face was bright red, and the smile on her face truly made her face light up like the sun. Naruto turned to Luna and saw the smile on her face and felt that he was maybe overdoing things a bit. Naruto, when it comes time to ask her, you'll know what to do, Mrs. Flash said as she winked at him and walked back inside the bakery. Naruto blushed a little bit, but he knew what she meant, and she was right. Naruto felt that he was overthinking things a bit, and decided that when the time came he would go out and find the best ring there was in all of Equestria and present it to Luna. However, what he was worried about was the time limit he had. Even though he had about 7 months left with Luna, that could pass by him so fast, and he wanted more time. After their visit with Mrs. Flash, Naruto and Luna began to head for the orphanage just behind the school where it was located. Naruto felt slightly nervous for some reason. Then again, he didn't remember ever being good with children. That and what he said the other day. The fact that he didn't care what happened to those kids made him feel like there was a hole in his stomach. He felt just like he did then, and he wished there was a sign, and not just words, that would tell him how he couldn't be a monster. Luna moved her eyes to the left, and saw that Naruto looked a little upset about something. She wanted to ask him, but before she could, what sounded like crying could be heard. Naruto's head shot up at the sound. The crying sounded weak and soft, as though they had been crying for a long time. He began to scan the area around him, and as he got closer to an alley, the crying seemed to increase. Naruto felt that this had to be the place where the crying was coming from, and peeked his head in to see a small white filly. Not just any filly though, the exact same filly he saw after he had defeated the great hydra. The one who looked upset. Naruto began walking down the alleyway, trying to get closer to the filly. He wasn't paying attention, and accidentally his hoof hit a can, startling the little filly. The little filly looked at him with tears coming out of her eyes. Naruto actually saw the color of her eyes at that moment. They were a light lavender that Naruto hadn't really seen before. Her flank was blank, and she looked to be backing away as if in fear of him. Naruto tried taking a step toward her, but was combated with her screams of pure terror. Naruto jumped to her at that moment, whereas most would back off. The filly looked up and saw that Naruto had gotten closer to her, but all she saw was a shadowy figure, and was in fear for her life. She was about to run away until Naruto wrapped his arms around her, saying, it's all right, there's no monster here. I'm sorry if that scared you, I didn't mean to do that." The little filly was shocked as she was catching her breath. The last pony to say that was her. She just started to cry some more, but this time into Naruto's shoulder, as he just held her tighter for some reason. It felt weird to him that he was holding her this way. It was like the way he held Luna, protecting and loving. He didn't know why this little filly brought him to this, but when Luna saw him, she smiled, thinking that he would one day make a great father. Then she blushed, realizing that she might be the one he might have a foal with, which made her start to hyperventilate. "Hey, aren't you that little filly who was with the orphanage the other day?" Naruto asked, pulling the filly forward, who was a little surprised by this. The little filly nodded while looking away. Naruto put her on his back, which made the filly look at him confused. "I'm going to carry you back if that's all right," Naruto said, smiling at her, and the little filly smiled and rested on his back. Naruto could tell that she was exhausted and felt like this could be him one day with a daughter or son of his own and having to care for it. It made him happy thinking about that, but then all the other thoughts came, making his face turn a dark red. He felt embarrassed thinking of this kind of stuff, especially because he knew that he wouldn't do such a thing unless Luna was going to be the one carrying his child. That made his face turn to the reddest it has ever been. Naruto began walking towards the exit where Luna was waiting for him, also blushing but was also hyperventilating. Naruto was wondering what she could be blushing about until something struck him in the head, literally. The little filly accidentally hit him in the head, and although it didn't hurt, it gave Naruto the idea what Luna was blushing about. "Hey Luna, is everything alright?" Naruto asked, getting Luna to snap out of her little moment. She looked up at him and smiled. "So Naruto, who is that on your back?" Luna asked, looking at the filly on his back. "Oh, it's a filly from that orphanage from that day when I fought the great hydra," Naruto said, smiling about it. But deep down he didn't want to think about that day, not after what he saw that day. Luna immediately saw through his smile and felt herself get a cold shiver down her back as the memories of being eaten and then spit back up went back through her mind. She grabbed herself while sitting up, causing Naruto to spin around and put one of his hooves on one of her arms, getting her to calm down quickly. "Hey, it's alright, I am not ever going to let that happen again, I promise you," Naruto said, realizing what just happened. He felt stupid thinking about that because Luna was sure to figure it out, and what happened to her caused nightmares that were almost always the same thing. It really hurt him. In the back of his mind he always had the fear of Shadow coming out and attacking him for Luna, but the thought of her being digested made him want to tear something down. Luckily Luna saw this and quickly planted a small kiss on his cheek, making him blush from surprise as he stood there frozen for a few seconds. He shook his head and looked at Luna, who gave him a smile that made all of his worries just fade away. Naruto smiled, wanting to hug her, but had a passenger, so he couldn't really do that. She walked past him, giving him an alluring eye that told him to follow, and his hooves moved by themselves. Luckily for Naruto, he knew they were going to the orphanage, or else he thought that they might have been going somewhere else for something that made him blush a deep red. Luna giggled lightly, making Naruto irritated that he allowed her to make him feel that way again. Luna slowed down until they were walking side by side with each other. They passed the school and saw the orphanage that looked a little small to Naruto, but then again he didn't know anything about how you run an orphanage. Luna was a little nervous to be going into a place filled with children. She hasn't really been good with children unless it was Nightmare Night. But then again she was mainly having fun, other than that she didn't really know how to handle a child. The building was a little old, but it was a beautiful building all the same to Naruto. It was a red building like the school, so if you looked at it parallel with the school you'd think it was a part of it. Luna was a little impressed by the craftsmanship that the building seemed to be built on. If his home wasn't as good as it was, Naruto would have wanted to live in a place like this. But he was happy with his home, and he couldn't ask for anything better than what he had. Naruto was the first to enter since he had something that belonged to the orphanage. Luna was right behind him, as she hadn't been so nervous since that day when she made her first appearance back in Equestria. It was hard for her, but with help from friends she got over that. She then looked at Naruto and thought to herself, "What is wrong with me? I am with the stallion I love and I'm nervous. I can't believe myself. Luna, get yourself together and walk in there with your head held high. Don't let them see you nervous, they'll see it and think you're weak." Suddenly Luna felt a whole lot more confident as she entered the building cited by Naruto. When they entered they could hear the laughing from several young foals coming from a room on their left. Naruto made the first move and turned the knob, opening the door. When he entered he saw two Maras and a teenage colt, by the looks of him, watching over about 10 foals as they played with one another. Naruto smiled seeing all the happy kids running around playing with each other. But what he was wondering is why was the filly on his back not here with them? One of the Maras looked at him and immediately cried out in happiness. Naruto looked at her confused. "You found her!" the mare said, giving Naruto the biggest hug ever. "Oh, thank you," she said, rubbing her face against Naruto's, who was still shocked from the whole hugging thing. The little filly on Naruto's back woke to the collision of the staff mare that was hugging Naruto. The little filly looked at the mare, and she looked to start shaking in fear. The little filly turned and saw something that made her sweat from both fear and nervousness. Naruto got his bearings and pushed off of the mare with the filly still on his back. Then he heard what sounded like heavy breathing that was directed at him. He nervously turned his head around and saw Luna was looking at the mare who he had just pulled away from. Naruto acted fast, getting between them. "Luna, stop, you need to calm down," Naruto said as Luna looked at him with anger and hate. "Why, so you can let the other mare hug you?" Luna sassed, making Naruto tilt his head in confusion as his expression read, "What?" It wasn't long though before Naruto realized what was going on. "Luna, I have told you 1,000 times that I don't like any other mare the way I love you. The only way that could ever happen is if some pony killed me and replaced my heart and wiped away my memories," Naruto said to Luna. The staff members of the orphanage were a little concerned that Naruto may have been a little too detailed there. Luckily, the foals had no idea what Naruto was talking about, so it's okay. "Don't say something like that, Naruto," Luna said, poking Naruto with her hoof. Naruto smiled, thinking that the poke was out of fun, but Luna was being serious. "I don't want anything to break you away from me, and you saying that will only increase some of the nightmares I have." "Mama?" the little filly on top of Naruto's back asked, getting the attention of the couple. "Excuse me, but what did you just call me?" Luna asked, a little confused. She had this look of irritation in her eyes still, which scared the little filly. Luna took a step back, thinking she had done something wrong. "I'm sorry about that, but could you please tell me what you called me a second ago?" The little filly was scared out of her mind. Luna had scared her originally from when Naruto was hugged by the other mare. Then with how she retorted to her. The little filly just thought for a second that she heard her mother talking is all. But she was too scared to repeat what she had said. "It's all right there, sweetheart," the mare that had hugged Naruto said, grabbing a hold of the little filly and held the filly in her arms for a second before setting her on the ground. "Now why don't you go play with the others? I'm sure they miss you." The mare smiled at the filly, but she only seemed to be afraid of this mare, as she scurried over to a corner and ducked her head into it. The mare turned from her small group and looked at Naruto and Wan. I'm sorry about hugging you out of the blue like that. I was just so worried about her that when you brought her in I was overwhelmed with joy. The mare said, only getting nods from Naruto and Luna. Oh, I'm sorry, but I haven't introduced myself and I'm in the presence of Princess Luna. My name is Ingrid, I am in charge of this orphanage. Ingrid then pointed over to the mare who was supervising the kids at that point. She looked to be enjoying herself, but Naruto saw that she seemed to be annoyed with this, and was actually staring at the filly that had originally been on Naruto's back who hid in the corner. That's Mara, she can have an attitude at times, but she's really nice when you get to know her. Mara turned her head and waved to Naruto and Luna with a smile. Luna waved back, but Naruto felt that something was up. She went back to watching the kids, but Naruto felt that there was malice in that smile that she gave them for some reason. The mare then pointed to the young stallion that Naruto believed to still be in high school or something like that. That's Tanner, he's still in high school though, but he takes time out of his day to help us out with things around here. He's really reliable. The young stallion blushed a little bit. Naruto looked from him to Ingrid and realized that she wasn't that old actually. She had to be around 25 or 26 years old. I guess some stallions could say she was pretty, but Naruto already knew who the most beautiful mare was in Equestria. He turned his head to Luna, who looked to him a little confused. Naruto smiled and winked at her, causing Luna to blush lightly. Naruto, not in front of the kids, alright? Luna whispered to Naruto, who just nodded, putting a hoof on her shoulder. She smiled up at him, and if they were alone she would have kissed him right then and there. But she didn't want the kids to start asking what they were doing. Naruto then turned back to Ingrid, who was looking concerned. Hey Ingrid, what's wrong? Naruto asked, startling Ingrid slightly. Sorry about that, Ingrid, but you looked concerned about something. It's alright, and I am. Naruto looked at her a little interested because he wanted to help her out. She seemed nice, and Luna would do the same thing if she was Naruto right now. You know the filly you brought back? Yeah, by the way, what is her name? Naruto asked, wondering why he never asked her before. Oh, it's Crystal, I thought you knew that already, to be honest. Ingrid said, giggling a little bit. Luna didn't like how Naruto was acting with Ingrid and nudged him hard. Almost a push actually that almost caught Naruto off guard had he not heard her coming. I'm worried that she might be an antisocial and I don't want her to be lonely. Naruto heard this and looked to the small white filly curled up in the corner. He walked over, getting a few questionable stares from the staff. When he got a couple feet away from her, he heard her crying lightly and got a little closer. Crystal heard this, and her head shot up immediately. She turned around to see Naruto looking at her a little scared. Crystal just ducked her head into her hooves. She looked to be scared of Naruto to most of the staff. However, he only got closer until he was right next to her. He sat down and started leaning in closer to Crystal. Hey Crystal? Crystal's head shot up, hearing her name said so softly. Why aren't you playing with every pony else? They all looked to be having fun. Is there something wrong? Crystal looked up at him, confused as to why he cared whether or not she played with other ponies. Why would you care about that? Mara said, coming up from behind him, sounding rather angry with him. Crystal just backed herself into the corner as Mara tried to grab her, making her even angrier. Naruto saw this and got between them. He stood before Crystal like a royal guard of Canterlot, and he meant business. Please back away, Naruto asked in the calmest voice he could bring out at the time. For some reason he felt that Mara wished harm onto Crystal, and he would die before that happened. Naruto looked serious, and that surprised Luna because besides her, she has never really seen him look like this when he was protecting some pony. She had never seen him like this, staring at his front. It was scary actually, but at the same time she couldn't help but feel a warm sensation in her heart. Seeing Naruto act like this made him appear to be a prince. So what are you going to do? Naruto asked, only getting Mara to take a step back in confusion. I don't want to have to fight you, especially a mare in front of all these kids, but I don't want you getting anywhere near Crystal, is that understood? Crystal was looking up at Naruto with wide eyes, as the only thing that came to her mind was one thing. Papa? She whispered, getting Naruto to look back at her in slight confusion. What did you say, Crystal? Naruto asked her with a smile on his face. Listen, you don't have to be afraid of anything, alright? No matter what happens, I'll be there to protect you. Naruto turned back to Madara and breathed what some might have called steam from his nose. Whatever, Madara said as she walked away feeling defeated. Naruto turned around and smiled at Crystal, who still looked at him with wide eyes. See, the big meanie is gone and won't bother you anymore. If she does, just come to me and I'll teach her not to mess with such a cute little princess like you. Naruto said, getting Luna to giggle a bit because she thought that he was acting rather childish. Naruto made a pouting face hearing Luna giggle at him. Crystal's eyes began to swell up with tears as she began to sniffle. Naruto now had no idea what to do. Ingrid was about to jump in when she saw something that surprised her. Crystal jumped right into Naruto. She had her small hooves wrapped around his neck as far as they would go and was crying into his shoulder. Naruto didn't know what was wrong, but he put his arms around the small filly, holding her close like he would Luna. He smiled as Luna came up next to him. It's okay, Crystal. Just let it out, it's alright, he said as she continued crying into his shoulder. No one could tell, but she wasn't crying because she was sad. She was so overjoyed by how Naruto acted that she just couldn't help but cry. It looks like he reminds her of him, Ingrid said, catching Luna's attention. Naruto reminds her of who? Luna asked, feeling that she should know what was going on. He reminds her of her father, Ingrid said, smiling while a tear ran down her face. Luna was surprised by this. She began to suspect that there was more to this than Ingrid was saying. I guess you're wondering if there's more? Ingrid said, smiling so freely, not realizing she had practically read Luna's mind, putting her in a state of shock. Crystal had finally finished crying by that time. Naruto was glad that that was over because he didn't like hearing her cry. That's when he began thinking of Luna. He hated seeing her cry as well. He began to wonder why this little filly made him feel the same way he would about Luna. It wasn't making much sense to him. But he didn't mind it one bit. He was happy that this little filly who was once so afraid of him was now holding on to him for comfort. Ingrid, what more so there? Luna asked, wanting to know the whole story. You see, we normally have kids given to us by other ponies who find them on the street, or if we find them. However, I found Crystal in the Everfree Forest. Ingrid looked upset now. She had a face of complete sadness. Luna wanted more information because she wanted to know why Crystal was holding Naruto that way. I was out walking when I heard a scream. At first I thought it was the forest playing tricks on me, but then I heard it again and that's when I knew it wasn't the forest. I ran as fast as my hooves would let me until I came to a clearing where I saw the most horrifying sight of my life. Her eyes were wide with terror as the memory of what she saw came back. Lying on the ground were two ponies, one was a stallion and the other was a mare. Both of them had been brutally butchered. Luna's eyes widened when she heard this, but at the same time she has never heard of a pony being butchered or seen one butchered before. It was horrible. The stallion had this large cut in his neck that was still pouring out blood from it, and was missing a leg. The mare's eyes were wide open and she had several cuts in her body. However, when I was about to run for help I heard what to me sounded like a crying. I looked around and there Crystal was crying in the bushes. Ingrid said as tears rolled down her eyes. She was so horrified that at first she wouldn't even come near me. I heard hoofsteps coming from behind me, so I galloped over to her, grabbed her with my mouth, and began running as fast as I could out of there. I didn't want to look back to see if there was some pony or something behind me. Because whatever it was had killed Crystal's parents, and I wasn't going to let that happen to Crystal. Ingrid said as her eyes turned from sadness to serious. Crystal hasn't been able to even play with others because whenever she starts to play with some pony she starts to remember the worst moment in her life. Either that or she just doesn't trust any pony anymore. She doesn't want that incident to happen again, Ingrid said as she smiled in the filly's direction. So then Crystal thinks of Naruto as her father? Luna questioned, having heard enough of that sad story. She looked over to Naruto and walked over to him and put her arms around both of them. Crystal looked at Luna and went and wrapped her small hooves around her then. Ingrid's eyes widened when she saw this. It's all right, little one, Luna said softly as she ran her hoof down her back, trying to help her calm down. Ingrid looked at them, and if she didn't know that Crystal was an orphan, she would have sworn that they were a family. Naruto smiled watching Luna hold Crystal like that. She must be good with kids, he thought to himself. Not really, she's just doing what her instincts are telling her to. After about 3 minutes of crying from Crystal, she finally stopped. Luna slowly began putting Crystal on the ground. Naruto helped wipe what was left of Crystal's tears from her eyes. Crystal was no longer upset, she was smiling happily at both Naruto and Luna. Crystal opened her eyes, and for the first time in a long time they had life in them. She smiled up at Naruto, who smiled back, feeling like she was finally okay. Luna knew why she was smiling, but she didn't want Naruto to know, not yet. "Would you mind playing with me?" Crystal asked as she jumped up and down happily. For a second Naruto thought she was related to Pinkie Pie for a second. When that thought left, Naruto nodded his head and Crystal shouted in joy. She tried to pull Naruto outside, but she was too young and Naruto was looking around like he was expecting something else to happen. Luna just glared at him slightly, and he smiled while scratching the back of his head. "Alright then, let's go play, Crystal," Naruto said as he picked her up and put her on his back. She had never been so happy in her life. Then again, she has only been alive for 4 years, so she doesn't have much that could really compare to this. "So what do you want to do?" Naruto asked, actually excited as he got to eye level with Crystal. Hide and seek, Crystal said, jumping up and down. "Alright then, how about you hide first, and I'll be the one who counts first, alright?" Naruto asked as Crystal started jumping up and down. "I'll take that as a yes. Now you go and hide while I count, okay?" Naruto closed his eyes and covered them with his hooves while Crystal tried to find a good place to hide. She only had 10 seconds and she was panicking a little bit. Until she remembered something that her father told her, that she could use magic because she was a unicorn like her mother. Crystal concentrated, remembering that levitation spell that she once saw her mother use on her dad when they were all playing hide and seek together. Her small horn glowed a brilliant teal as she began floating in the air. She was so excited about it that she wanted to scream, but she didn't want Naruto knowing where she was. 10. "Alright, Crystal, you better have hid well because nothing escapes me," Naruto proclaimed as he began to dart all around the orphanage trying to find the little filly. Luna was watching the whole thing and looked up to see Crystal giggling softly to herself. Naruto started to look all over the place as he was determined to find the young filly. Naruto was beginning to look in places that some thought impossible, but that didn't stop him at all. He was going to find this filly. He began to look in the trash cans that were outside the orphanage, and was also looking through every room inside the orphanage. Naruto was beginning to get frustrated when he began to start looking in trees and all that. Crystal hadn't moved from her spot in the air, but she was finding it a little harder to keep concentration, with her having to also focus on not laughing as Naruto continued to become frustrated with being unable to find her. Luna just shook her head as her cold friend wasn't looking and ran into a tree. Crystal had to hold back the laughter that she felt coming on, and it was hard. Naruto was about to give up when he saw Luna looking over to him with this sort of disappointed look. "Naruto, are you really going to let this little filly get the best of you?" Luna asked, trying to see if he would actually get that fire back and continue to look for the little filly. Naruto thought about it for a second and screamed, "No! I won't let her beat me at this, no way!" His eyes were on fire, literally. Luna smiled seeing the stallions he loved so much, but unfortunately he didn't really get any better at finding Crystal. Luna just smiled at his determination but looked up at Crystal, who was still trying to hold back her giggling. Luna waved to her, and Crystal waved back. Naruto turned just in time to see this and wondered why Luna would do that. He didn't look up as he was lost in thought about what she could have been waving at. Luna just sighed and walked over to Naruto and patted his back. He looked at her a little surprised. "Why don't you stop seeking and just let her win?" Luna suggested, not wanting to see Naruto punching through walls to find her. She knew how Naruto got when he was angry, and she didn't want the little foals exposed to such a violent form of him. "But you just said that I should." Naruto was stopped as he saw a pleading look coming from Luna. "Alright then. Crystal, you win, I can't find you!" Naruto shouted as he suddenly heard a cry of victory from the sky. His head shot up and saw that Crystal was using magic to levitate herself in the air. Naruto pouted as he couldn't believe how stupid he was. Crystal floated back down, seeing Naruto looking upset. Did I do something wrong? Crystal asked, looking down at the ground. Naruto could see that Crystal actually looked and appeared to feel guilty about what she had done. No, not really, but next time no magic, alright, my little diamond in the rough, Naruto said, rubbing his hoof through her mane, making it messy. Crystal looked up at Naruto with wide eyes as she remembered her father calling her those exact words. Hearing them again made her start to sniffle. That made Naruto and Luna jump backwards in surprise. Crystal, is everything alright? Did I say anything wrong? Crystal ran to Naruto and wrapped her small hooves around his leg. Naruto was completely and utterly confused until Crystal began to shout one word. Papa, 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 she said, crying into his leg. Naruto knew that had to be what she called him earlier before they played with each other. Ingrid had finally come out after having taken care of the other foals inside. She still couldn't believe that Crystal was playing with some pony. She felt that it was a miracle that had descended down upon them. When she got outside, she heard crying and then saw Crystal crying into Naruto's leg. She was about to run over when she heard continually calling Naruto Papa. She couldn't believe it. Luna was shocked at what this little filly was calling Naruto. When she looked at Naruto, she felt like an aura was coming off of him, but not a bad one. It felt to her like this light or benevolence was beaming off of Naruto. She watched as Naruto picked the little filly up off the ground and pulled her out to look at her. Crystal wanted to hug Naruto badly, but then wrapped herself up, feeling like she had done something wrong. She was scared that she had made Naruto mad at her. Naruto felt that something was wrong and he didn't know anything else except how he comforted Luna. He brought the little filly closer and wrapped her up in his arms. At first, Luna was surprised to see this side of Naruto because she didn't think he'd have that effect on a foal. But right there in front of her, she saw Crystal, the filly who had lost her parents in the worst way possible, finding Naruto to be just like her father. It's okay, Crystal, I got you. There's no need to cry, my young diamond, Naruto said as he picked his head up and looked down at the filly with a gentle smile. Ingrid was tearing up because never before had she seen any pony be so kind to an orphan, let alone Crystal. Ingrid couldn't believe how happy Crystal was even though she was crying. Papa! Those were the only words able to escape Crystal's lips. She couldn't say anything else as the memories of her first parents dying in front of her came back to her again. Before she could start crying again, though, she felt Naruto hold her closer to his chest. Don't cry, my little diamond. I know you're hurting inside. Maybe it's because your parents aren't with you, or maybe they abandoned you. Crystal looked up to him in horror. How could Naruto say that about her parents? But when I think about it, the only reason I can think of them not being here for some pony as special as you is because they are no longer with us. If that's true, I am so sorry, Crystal. If I was there, I would have done anything to help them. You wouldn't be alone anymore. I just wish there was something that I could do to make you feel better. Luna looked at Naruto with amazement. She couldn't believe that Naruto was able to realize that without being told. Why not adopt her? Luna and Naruto shot their heads in the direction of the voice, and saw that it was Ingrid, who looked like she had just been crying. Adopt her? Naruto asked, feeling confused. Yes, adopt her. From what I have seen, she seems to really like you, Naruto, and I think you would be the perfect parent for Crystal. Same goes to you, Luna. You'd make a great mother. In fact, when I look at the three of you together, I already see a great family, Ingrid said as Naruto and Luna looked at each other with questioning looks. I don't know, Ingrid. Naruto and I have only been together for 2 months, well, as a couple. I don't know if we're ready to take care of a filly. Neither of us know the first thing to do when it comes to that, Luna said, feeling a little upset with herself because she saw how Crystal looked at Naruto. She didn't want that little filly to start crying again, especially if it makes her feel like she was abandoned. More importantly, though, was that Naruto hadn't really had an income for a while. Sure, she was a princess, and could just borrow some from her sister, but she wanted to be with Naruto, and have a normal pony life with him. Luckily, their friends helped them out every once in a while. Or they might not have anything to eat. But... Crystal was trying to say something but couldn't because of the hurt that she felt. I'm sorry, Crystal, but Luna is right. Crystal looked up at Naruto with tears forming in her eyes. I want to adopt you with all of my heart, but we just don't have the funds right now, but I promise when we do we'll come for you, alright? Naruto said, trying to comfort the little filly, but all he got her to do was jump away from him and run inside, crying her heart out. Crystal! Naruto called out, reaching his hoof out only to grab for air. Crystal was already inside and now somewhere where Naruto wouldn't find him. Naruto felt angry with himself as he felt his anguish from saying such a thing to an already hurt filly. I'm sorry about that, Ingrid. Come on, Luna, let's just go. If I stay here any longer, I'll break something. Naruto couldn't believe how much pain his body was going through. It felt like when Luna was getting hurt. I'm sorry for asking something like that out of the blue, Naruto. But you must understand that Crystal hasn't ever gotten as close to a pony ever since her parents' deaths. Naruto froze when he heard that. So then Naruto's guess was correct. When you came into her life just now, she saw her father in you, Naruto. But since you said that you wouldn't take her, she feels like she's lost her father again. Naruto felt even angrier after hearing this, because that meant that she may never open up to any pony ever again. Naruto just wanted to run to his home and go to bed and get this day over with, but the sun hadn't even begun to set, and he felt wide awake, so that would hinder the sleeping. Luna could see the anger within Naruto better than any pony now. She saw how much he wanted to take Crystal but couldn't. I'm really sorry, Ingrid, but we really have to get going now, Luna said, putting her wing over Naruto, trying to comfort him as they made their way out of the orphanage, but before they could, they heard a shriek coming from the orphanage. Naruto was the first to respond, galloping as fast as his hooves would go into the orphanage, almost taking the doors off of their hinges. Naruto knew that shout came from Crystal, which only furthered his anger. He felt like such an idiot for not realizing the mistake he made sooner. Naruto heard the shriek again and blasted the door down, and found Mara standing over a completely terrified Crystal. Get away from her! Naruto shouted as he prepared his hoof to go right into the mare's face. Mara turned around in surprise as Naruto's hoof came into contact with her cheek, sending her into a wall. After Naruto had done that, Luna came rushing in to Naruto, worried. Crystal, are you alright? Those were the first words that came out of Luna's mouth. Mama! Papa! Crystal shouted as she jumped into Luna's arms. She cried so hard into her chest that Luna began to think she might have to borrow a towel after this. We're so sorry, Crystal. If I had known this would happen, I would have taken you home with us on the spot, Naruto said as tears began to fall from his face. I promise you I won't make that mistake again. From this point on, you're a part of this family. I will happily take you as my daughter, Crystal, Naruto said as he put his cheek against Crystal's and then hugged both of the girls he cared so much about now. And just like that, Naruto's home would be filled with another member, and their family had gained a new member. Chapter end.
Now watch daily exclusive and censored lemon stories and mature content, along with NSFW images, featuring harem girls characters from the fics. Access all this and more on my Patreon. Click the link in the description to explore.